But oldie olds, go to my YouTube channel and search by highest viewed. Not the VOD channel, the main channel. There's a full Let's Play, as well as a getting started guide, which is about 30 minutes long if you just want it more compact. And I have a giant countdown timer at the top of chat when there's ads, so. And Soul Player, in regards to wide hallways, yes, that's true, but to a point. Wider hallways allow more pathing options, which is tougher on older PCs. So if you have an older computer, maybe not the best idea. That being said, when you see little brown arrows beneath dwarves, it means that they're lying down or have been knocked over or have no legs. It could actually be any of those things. And because of that, you kind of don't want... How do I put this? You kind of don't want your dwarves to have to path over top of each other because it makes it slower for them to get away from things if something bad is happening. So like if a big monster's attacking, you don't necessarily want them like, you know, running into a crowd of people and then slowing down. You want them to run quickly. So do the dwarves prefer it? Dwarves don't give a shit. Do players prefer it? Yeah. I mean, I do. I'm a player. We're getting another migrant wave. I'll just watch the population climb. Yes, what Tigrox said. 2 wide hallways, or I usually do 2 or 3 wide hallways. If you make thinner hallways, though, it is usually better for your frame rate. Usually, not always. Let's just dump this, this, and that. Sure. It's just kind of a caveat that I like to throw out there for people who have lower end systems. Because, like, if you're building a fort and your fort's running terribly and you're confused as to why, it's like that might have something to do with it, unfortunately. And this will make us a pretty nice little reservoir eventually. Or 6 wide main hallway flanked with statues, you know? All that kinds of things. I tend to do things, though, in my forts that are maybe not the best for frame rate, because I think they look cool. So I think sacrificing some frames for awesome fort is a plus, but not everybody agrees with that notion, so do keep that in mind. And Soul Prayer. Thanks for the bits. Appreciate you. And this should fill up pretty quick. Give us a space that we can use as a functional... well. But I'm just going to tell most of these dwarves to run down here real quick. Let's see how much of this stuff we can just dump out of here. Although, this side over here doesn't matter so much. Because they should all be able to just go right there really quickly. And ideally they can do that before this starts to fill up, because this will fill up, and it will fill up pretty quick. Uh-oh. Somebody's just tossing their clothes, because I guess some otters is going to go get new clothes. Schwanky. Fancy there, Dwarf. When are you going to go pick up? I'm curious. Will you snooze good? Good night, Soul Prayer. You made 2 and your dwarves refused to use them, though. This is the second time I've had this exact discussion in the last 40 minutes. I don't know. Do they have all the prerequisites for archery ranges? They use them periodically, 1 or 2 at a time. There are some settings you can change to make them do them more frequently. I actually, when I train archers, I barely ever get them to use or crossbow dwarves. I barely ever let them use a archery range. 99% of the time, when I have marks dwarves or archers, I get them to simply train. What's the word? In a wrestling space, like in just a normal barracks, and then I essentially just wait until I get them training wrestling, and then I occasionally will queue up a Oop, we're almost done here. Then very occasionally I will permit them to do other training, because they train against live targets with crossbows 7 times as fast as they do against dead targets. So most of the vast majority of the target practice I do and training I do for that kind of military isn't at an archery range, it's just at a barracks. Maybe not 1 siege, but 2 sieges, and yeah, pretty much they'll all be professionals. They'll be pretty good at what they do at that point. So this whole thing is going to fill up with water, slowly, but surely. And I already have enough space here to build a well. I'm just going to go up to here. I'll plop that down there, and then a wall piece here. So this dwarf just gets a fancy window in their bedroom, which I'm sure they'll appreciate. And the Cobalt Fellowship now has many worshippers here, and I will ignore that for the next 10 minutes until I'm done the thing that I'm currently doing. Which is I will do this, 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 and this. And then throw a well in here. Those who can shoot will be coming back? Well, I mean, I normally set up, defensive structures and towers for them, so that's not usually a concern, but I mean, I guess if you're just leaving them outside, that could be a concern, but I don't usually do that. I try and put a little bit more preparation and thought into how I'm going to keep my dwarves safe. But sure, I guess it could be in theory, if that's how you're running your fort.
Oh.
Kage Jitai, thank you very much for the 8th month. Chat, can I get a round of beers? For our friend here keeping that subscription alive. Appreciate you, dude. And thanks for helping keep the channel funded. Seriously, I wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for people subscribing, so thank you. Let's actually put one right there and pause this. At least they can get in and out of here really quick right now. Now would be a really bad time for a were creature, hey? Be a shame if something like that were to happen. Let's also throw one right there just so that it looks a little nicer. All right. So this is now an operational well, which means I should now have a water source. So I'm going to start building a hospital over here. Actually, let's do limestone. And then go down one. I wonder if I should make raw silver blocks. Oh, did you redeem a dwarf? I super missed that. My bad. Celesty. Your usual, I presume? I don't have any jewelers or gem cutters that are ladies. Let's check for dwarfs with skill, though. I could give you this dwarf. Who's now assigned manually to gem cutting. Celesty, or rather, I think that's how you spell it, is frequently depressed after seeing Potpourri's dead body. I'm very sorry. Never becomes angry because she got caught in the rain once, and forms fleeting and rare emotional bonds with others, and is very impolite and inconsiderate of property. She's quite ambitious, and she generally finds herself to be hopeful about the future. She enjoys the company of others, and she has a noticeable lack of perseverance. She's quite humble, and she doesn't try to get things done perfectly. She's rarely happy or enthusiastic, and she's conflicted by this, as she values parties and merrymaking in the abstract. She's quick to form negative views about things. I should also check something here. She's quick to form negative views about things, and she can handle stress. She talks very loudly whenever she's annoyed, and she needs alcohol, and she lowers her eyes when she's nervous. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. She dreams of creating a great work of art. Personally, she views tranquility as one of the highest ideals. Views any show of emotion as offensive, is affronted by the whole notion of maintaining decorum, and finds so-called dignified people disgusting. She finds friendship burdensome, and does not particularly value the truth. She likes microcline, gold, yellow diamond, and the color gray, shields, and the words of the early dress, and the sound of the fabulous euphoria, and the sight of the fuchsia rhythm, and when possible, prefers to consume earthworm, persimmon wine, and absolutely hates snails. She is thin and her teeth are tangled. She has no friends and is a member of the Ashen Cult, God of Death. Welcome to the fort. Hi, Cyrelac. How are you? This lady trying to climb a cave wall to hunt a Crundle. She's lost a lot of teeth and a broken, and nose is broken and got one strike off, and she keeps climbing and she feels exhilarated. I mean, hey, it's a living. It ain't much, but it's honest work. Must be clothing making season because I'm suddenly seeing clothing appearing everywhere. Well, I mean, if she's thirsty, then hey. I would say yes, she very much deserves that drink that she's craving, assuming she gets back alive. That's going to become my hospital. But first, require another temple and priest, so let's do that. And also queue up some... Actually, I like the way that I've been doing these up until this point, so I'm going to continue doing them that way. I've also got plenty of time left on that. I'm also going to go up to here, and rather than queuing up more floors for other things, I'm just going to make a bunch of bedrooms. Actually, how much conglomerate do I have? Wait, what? You just spent an hour trying to put the belt, the drive belt back on the lawnmower. Oh. I have a alternative option if you can't get that mower working. Saigon has been missing for a week. Do I have another vampire? Did I, like, wall somebody in somewhere somehow? Chat, do you guys see a dead dwarf somewhere here? Because I'm not seeing a dead dwarf anywhere. Did a meme dump? I don't need to go see memes, man. Huh. There must be another vampire in the fort. I wonder. I wonder. Oh. Make a well. Try and make it safe. Dwarf drowns in it. Tomato, tomato. Sigh. Well, I need to make a drainage setup for my well. I'm not too thrilled about this, but... I'll do what I has to. At least that answers that. You can't believe it? A vampire well? Vampire wouldn't have drowned. Vampires don't need air. Also, just go watch my video on vampires. I did a vampire fort in the last 365 days, which means I will not have any interest in making another vampire fort for at least another 576 days. On average. So don't expect me to make any vampire fort anytime soon, because it's just not going to happen. And if you wonder why, try making a vampire fort and then not getting annoyed with how they're managed. Did nobody do a welfare check? On what? The vampire? Or the dwarf in the well? I mean, I thought everybody was out of there. I did a quick skim through, but apparently not, so... It must have actually been the dwarf that was, like, walling off that dwarf's bedroom at the top. And not one of the dwarves down in the well, because I did check in the well when I was done, but... You're making a joke that the well itself was a vampire? Oh! Okay, yeah, no, that one went way over my head, but I get it. It's more of a cursed well than anything. Although it is kind of like the most Dwarf Fortressy thing that can happen with a well is somebody drowns in it, so... Or falls into it and goes splat. And for the octillionth time, the reason I do these manually is so that I have an idea of how many more I need to make. That's a baby. Baby doesn't need their own. I think I need to start making bedrooms on a new layer. So let's start throwing bedrooms up here. And yes, I'm aware that I'm making very large bedrooms, but I'm doing that intentionally. Because I think they look nice. Even though they add more work, that's totally fine. It's probably worth the more positive moods that you get out of the bigger bedrooms. And let's do this. Okay. Want to get me a few more beds? They're a pain in the ass to manage and kind of suck, is the actual answer when it comes to vampires. I didn't end that fort because it died. They do have huge advantages when it comes to combat, but they're just not fun to manage at all. Like, I literally just got too annoyed with running that fort. Was why that fort ended. But I think the video on it's pretty good. There's really, like, in my opinion, well, without tooting my own horn, I have a video on how to make a vampire fort. But there's also Krug Smash did a series a while ago called Honey Stoker, which is very good. If you want other vampire-related things, but it is an older version of the game, so it's still ASCII with the old school look, but still the storytelling in that thing is pretty timeless. So. Random honking sounds and somebody shouting. Living next to a road. They'll need positive moods. I mean, I was just kind of... Hold on, I'm getting a phone call I actually need to answer because this might be something important. Nope, not important. Not a scammer, but not important. In other news, I'm not actually entirely positive how I managed to pull this off, but I'll have to fix it. Also, I screwed this up on multiple levels. That's okay. I can fix it. Awkward. But I can fix it. Let's not do that, though. So, chat, what have you been up to this week? We are a little lurky today, at least in the coherent conversation sense. So, did you get up to anything fun this past weekend? Playing any fun games? Anything new? Something old? Just Dwarf Fortress? What you been up to? What's been up with Krug Smash? He's been quiet for 7 months. I guess I could talk about that. He was posting on his Patreon recently that he got really burnt out, which I'm not surprised. I mean, he made basically the same format of video for a very long time. I mean, I get that a little bit, but at the very least, like, there's variety to my job. Like, I can do other things. Like, if I don't feel like making YouTube videos for a while, I can just stream more. So I don't have as much of that as an issue, I guess. But he was posting about running into some burnout problems. And then on top of that, I need to basically just dig right up to this. And then on top of that, he was, what's the word I'm looking for here? It was some burnout problems, plus just needing a break, I guess. So we just kind of stopped posting YouTube videos for a while. And it's really, there's this thing in like being a content creator that I've seen referred to as the creator spiral, which is a bit of a silly way to put it, but a creator spiral is basically just when like you get burnt out and so you stop making as much content, and then YouTube, usually it's YouTube or Twitch even, starts punishing you, like as in maybe not literally or intentionally, but like people don't tune in as much because they don't expect you to be live, so that when you do make something, you make way less money and it's harder to get back into the swing of things once things kind of slow down. And I think that kind of happened to him a bit. Like he got burnt out, stopped for a bit, and hasn't been able to get going again. I don't know if he'll ever be back to making YouTube videos, but he posts a lot on his Patreon. He's doing a lot of art on his Patreon, like not Dwarf Fortress related stuff. He also posts on social media very frequently. So not sure. Brain is melty because of recent sleep issues. Yeah, I'm ready for summer to be over so I can sleep better. Very ready for summer to be over so I can sleep better. Oopsies. Because the air gets dry with heating? No, really. I sleep better in the winter because the sun goes down like 6 hours earlier. It's more about light for me, less like general humidity or temperature. I think the last thing I saw Crux, I mean, it's his place to talk publicly about this stuff, not mine, but the last thing I saw him saying was that he was thinking about maybe getting into books or something, which I'd be all for that. That'd be cool. I mean, he's a creative with an audience, and he has the advantage of being able to pivot the types of stuff he does creatively pretty dramatically if he feels that that's something he needs. Yeah, I don't know what your living situation's like, Trell. I mean, for me, in my old apartment, I was right next to a window where I slept, because otherwise I had no ventilation, and now I'm on the 4th floor with south-facing windows, so... You're burnt out on lawyering and want to be a Dwarf Fort content creator? Well, for whatever it's worth, California Ninja Lawyer, you probably make a lot more than I do lawyering, and I'm about as big as you can get for Dwarf Fortress content creation. Unless you do something wild, it's much harder. It's very hard to get to even where I'm at. And you could probably make more money than I do, like just getting an electrician certificate. So if you're like burnt out on being a lawyer, your best bet is to probably go into blue collar or like find another office job. Maybe like consulting. California Ninja Lawyer in YouTube chat. I'm just saying. Does my bedroom not have a window? Oh yeah. Absolutely, my bedroom has a window. Unless you're talking to Romanoid. Which you might be. So let's actually just go to here. I'm gonna throw in another lever. What we do in the shadows. Speaking of what we do in the shadows, did any of you guys notice and or believe that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 got a release date? It's out like soon. Okay. Which I kind of find hard to believe. I think the way to do this is to do one bridge and then a second bridge. Close this one, get a dwarf to stand on this one and channel that down. Or just dig through that. And then we'll let them run out this way and then open the other one. And let it all flow out. I think the gist that I've gotten from the previous stuff I've seen, I never played the original, so keep that in mind. But from the stuff I've seen, it kind of looks closer to a Dishonored, which is kind of dope. I don't know, but like maybe not what fans of the old games are looking for, but Dishonored was pretty cool. I'll believe it when it's out. Yeah. Yeah, that might... Was Silk Song announced before or after that? That was before, right? Which also has a release date, which is crazy. You know, I'm kind of bummed out. I really wanted Silk Song to just be like, yo, it's out. Not like here's an announced release date. I really, really wish they were just like, yo, it's out, go play it. And I don't care about Silk Song. It's not really my genre. But I really wish that's what they chose to do. Yeah, it actually has a release date. Silk Song does. It is September 4th. They missed the meme day by a day, but... That is true. They did, in fact, announce a sequel to Beyond Good and Evil. I actually try to forget that sometimes. I'm just going to approve this temple and a priest for the Cobalt Fellowship. Oops. And I'm going to go down here while they dig out that stuff and build things. That's all limestone, so let's do some conglomerate. Oops, wrong tool, but that's fine, I can fix it. And then the rest of this can be... malachite. Okay, let's also get rid of this, that, this, that, and the other. And we'll do temple. Which is the Cobalt Fellowship, the God of Mountains, Akil. No, absolutely. I mean, they changed like a development studio closed in the time it's been in development, right? It also like was in like the middle of development right before the work from home shift happened, right? So like I think like it's most likely as much a fault of just poor timing for like that game's announcement as it is like development issues. It was at least there was like one full studio reorganization, and then I think they changed studios. It might have been twice, but I do recall like games director getting fired / quitting or something, followed by then a studio getting shut down. Like it's been multiple stages of like, well, fuck. Oh shit, that's such a good name though. The Werebear Monk. Chat room, I'm terrified. The Werebear Monk. Nak Ropitini. It's a really funny name. I'm not gonna lie. Has come. A very large bear twisted into humanoid form. It's crazed for flesh and blood, in that order, and its eyes glow ultramarine. This is just a character from Kung Fu Panda, my friends, and its raw umber hair is long and wavy. You will know why you fear the night. Why is it ultramarine, man? Oh, well, sorry, Eurus, but you're fucked. Yeah. Ooh. Also, it has a direct line into the fort, so Eurus, distract him. It's got a child named Geb. It worships a whole bunch of, like, legendary things as well. I'm just gonna presume that Eurus there is dead. Oh, well, now there's a cat here. Maybe it was scared of the cat? Please just turn back into whatever you were before. Uh-oh. No. You're making peach bark dye. Tasks. You look for peach bark dye. Peach bark dye. Peach bark dye. Peach bark dye. Just bark at that dye. Please go back to your previous form. Oh no, Elf Pulse is about to die probably. So now I get to stare at this. Attacks the high chroma, but she jumps away. That was Elf Pulse. Punches the high chroma. The high chroma strikes the werebear monk in the right foot with her steel pick, tearing the fat. The pick was firmly lodged in the wound. Were you bit? Okay, so this was my expedition leader, who's married to Poobert, who is one of my militia dwarves. I'm gonna send them to go fight. Grabs the high chroma by the arm. She pulls on her pickaxe and removes it. The werebear monk punches her again. High chroma strikes him in the left hand with her steel pick, and the severed part sails off in an arc. The werebear monk attacks the high chroma, but she dodge rolls and jumps away. The steel pick is lodged firmly in the wound after she strikes it, tearing the muscle. The creature has moved down a few tiles, and its foot is on the ground. She hasn't been bit yet, from what I can tell. I'm just moving one turn at a time. The steel pick is lodged in the wound. The werebear falls over, grabs her again, this time by the foot. She rips the pick out of her foot and manages to break the grip of the werebear on her foot. The werebear attacks her, but she dodge rolls again. The high chroma strikes the werebear and the monk in the left foot with her steel pick, and the severed part sails off in an arc, so she's hacked off another piece of it. This time it's foot. See? So she's hacked off a foot and a hand, and somehow still hasn't been bit. Chat, I need a round of beers for good luck for this dwarf. This is an epic battle. How many kills does this thing have? Oh my god. Including Urist, quite a few. Quite a few. If I move one turn forward, High Chroma strikes it again, and the werebear misses. Fuck. The werebear bites the werebear monk bites the High Chroma in the head. She gets bit in the head. So she's been bit. I will try and keep her alive if she survives this. What a hero. You were so close. The High Chroma punches it in the left arm with her left hand, bruising the fat. The werebear monk attacks her, but she rolls away. She misses the werebear monk. The monk attacks her, but she scrambles away. She strikes the werebear monk in the left lower arm. In the left lower leg with her steel pick, tearing the muscle. Werebear monk grabs the High Chroma by the head. And then the werebear screams, "I've been injured badly. I feel so shaken." The monk gouges the High Chroma's upper lip with the werebear monk's right... Wait, what? The werebear monk gouges the High Chroma's upper lip with the werebear's monk's right hand, and the skull splits into gore. It headbutted her in the mouth. Or, sorry, punched her in the mouth with a clawed hand. Her head just split. Or rather, sorry, her skull is mangled beyond recognition. It's also dripping blood. Congratulations, Dwarf. Your head is now a mashed potato. How are you doing up here, Mr. Dyer? Dodging. Good. How about you? Nobody down here? Well, that's good. And still... Well, actually, no, she's not stand... Oh, no, no, she's lying down. She can't stand. Ability to stand lost, so she can't... She's not, in fact, standing. She is, in fact, not standing. Werebear monk gouges her. Werebear monk gouges her again in the right eyelid. With its right hand, she pulls another pick out of it. The dyer above punches it, which bruised it. The werebear monk gouges her again with its right hand. This time in the left cheek. Tendon in the skull has been torn. The dyer punches it. Gouges her upper lip again, this time shattering the skull. A tendon in the skull has been torn. Really? And the monk says, "I was attacked! Most shocking! Mate, I don't think this is going to classify as self-defense. I'm just saying. Oh, she's not going to be alive much longer. I'm just going 1 second at a time, basically. By hitting period. The werebear gouges her once again in the lip with its right hand. It's basically like... Has anybody here seen the movie Drive? Slight spoilers for Drive. There's a scene in an elevator where a guy gets his face stomped in. It's basically that, but like the first 5 or 6 boot kicks before he dies. And it's just like his nose like inverting. Anyway. Thanks for the $4.99. Can you weaponize were creatures? Certainly, you can weaponize anything if you try hard enough. You can weaponize toy boats. The question is it a pain in the ass to manage? Probably. Is it annoying as hell to manage? Yes. Is it worth the effort? Hoodie Hair has a pretty good video of trying to weaponize were creatures, and pain in the ass. The Potter has joined in the fight. The werebear monk gouges her again in the right hand with its right hand, and in the left eye, somehow after their skull has been shattered, and the rest of their face is still there, I guess. So they're now going for the other eye. Meanwhile, a dyer punches it, and a potter helps. The werebear monk gouges the chroma's left eye with the werebear monk's right hand, tearing it apart and shattering the skull. A tendon has been torn. The werebear monk gouges the high chroma's cheek with the werebear monk's right hand, tearing it apart and shattering the skull again. She's still alive somehow. The werebear monk says, "I've improved my fighting." That was satisfying. Dyer punches the werebear monk. The werebear monk gouges the chroma again, continuing to re-shatter the skull. Continues to shatter the skull. The werebear monk bites the chroma in the head once again, so she's been bit in the head again. What a way to go, man. Where's Poobert? They're all coming down to help. They are on their way down. It's just not a lot of time has passed. Which means Poobert's going to arrive in time to see his wife die. The dyer misses. The potter misses. The monk shakes the expedition leader around by the head, and the injured part collapses. Also, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. And just like that, she leaves this cursed place. Rest in peace, Elf Poles. Werebear grabs the potter by the upper front teeth with its upper leg. I don't know how, but it did. The dyer punches the werebear monk. The werebear monk misses the potter. The werebear monk throws the potter by the front teeth with its upper leg. The dyer misses. The werebear monk bites the potter in the head. Ironically, this in and of itself won't turn them into a were creature, I don't think. Because it's just bruised it. Unless they're bleeding. Bruising is technically... It won't spread whereism lycanthropy. The potter punches it in the right lower leg, bruising the fat. The werebear monk releases the grip of its teeth on the dwarf. Or, no, of its leg on the dwarf's teeth. There you go. The dyer punches the werebear monk. The monk grabs the potter by the first finger. It's upper arm. The werebear monk bites the potter in the upper arm. There you go. And an artery has been opened by the attack, and many nerves have been severed. Sorry, Aban. The future werebear, or the potter, bites the werebear monk in the left upper arm, bruising the skin. The dyer scratches the werebear. The werebear monk shakes the dwarf around, and their arm flies off in an arc. Werebear monk bites them again in the body. I'm going to name them something other than bear because... I'm just going to give them the nickname Bear instead of the job pair, so I know who they're talking about. The werebear monk bites the potter in the upper body. Oh. So bites the dwarf in the upper body. So this is now a werebear. And hopefully dies. Can still breathe, though. Lost an arm. And... question is, where did the human monk go? He's now running south and regrew all of his limbs. Yep. And the military offed them pretty quick. The human monk was killed by a swords dwarf who slashed him in the head with a steel short sword. Oh man, I was hoping it would be Poobert. Nope. It was Schmitty sent. Horrified after seeing Elf Poles die. That was his spouse. Or his lover, rather. And one of the starting 7 dwarves. The first to fall, chat. Can I get a bunch of Fs for the 3 dwarves who died in that fighting? Because it's a damn shame, that. Rest in peace, you were good dwarves. I think it was like 3 total that I need to make tombs for. And how's the value of this doing? Still a ways to go. I don't think that last dwarf has died. Yeah, no, we do actually have a werebear problem. Actually, hold on. Dwarf, do you have a bed? You do. I'm going to watch this dwarf until they go to bed. I'm also going to put a wall here. But I'm going to follow this dwarf until they go to bed. And when they go to bed, I will lock them in. We'll do it that way. The reason I only did 1 episode of that fort, I should probably title it better. I won't be continuing it. There was some bugs in that version of the game that made Forgotten Beasts not operate functionally. So this is kind of the replacement for Thunderpants, because what I wanted to do with that fort was make a fort that was based on making beasts fight. And if Forgotten Beasts are bugged and aren't going to work properly, then that kind of defeats the whole point. So I opted to retire. Or not retire, but just retire that world. I still have to save for it, but... You have a necromancer, or I do? I didn't see one. Oh, no, you're right. What? Huh. Overlord of whomst? He's the overlord of the heavens of trading. I'm gonna check something real quick. Oh, the heaviness of trading. Which is a local dwarven government? But you're the overlord? Hey, chat. I'm just going to point my mouse at that for a minute. And just say, look at that. Do I have any crimes? Or cold cases? No, I don't. Currently more anxiety prone, hey? Former? Oh. I mean, you're taking that joke 2 steps further than I am, but... He's just like T-Pain. Or is it Akon? Actually, I think it's Akon in that song. T-Pain's and I'm on a boat. Overlord Necromancer? Correct, yes. Okay, so I need to go here. And go down to here. And then also this, once this is built. I'm playing with the new dye colors. The new dye colors are, what do you mean by on? I mean, if you generate a new world, then you get the new dye colors, which is why I generated this world. So yes. You can't turn them off, though. Possibly, but because it says a local dwarven government, it must be a dwarven tower, because it's not connected to a faction. Although Overlord is usually like a goblin civ thing. Just looking for towers. It could also be like... Oh, there, it's probably this. No, that's the brass inks. So even though that's a dwarven tower, it's probably not that. Looking for another dwarven tower. Or just a tower in general. It could also be one of these. Like helixes that were abandoned and then retaken over. The squids of constructing, uh-huh. Sure. You know, if the squids start constructing things, I may need to go consult the War of the Worlds. That documentary for advice. The Rough... Okay, that's a pretty good name. The Dwarven Tower of Ring Bronze and the Rough Enchanters. A+. That's a good name. I like that name a lot. That's pretty good. That's the Human Tower of the Violet Yore. Also pretty good. I have a feeling that this fort is kind of like a smoldering pot that's going to pop at some point. Like at some point, this fort's just going to become super violent super quickly. Yeah, I don't see any towers where that could be. Yeah, Overlord is like basically a ruler of a goblin aligned faction. Okay, so let me just jump back up to here. Oh, already linking that. Let's just follow that dwarf who's linking stuff. Although, no, I should be following the bear. Until they walk in their bedroom. This is your bedroom. You live here now. We'll figure out what to do with you later. If you want, you can polish your own walls and smooth them. And engrave the floors. But Dwarf, you live here now. I'm also gonna queue up some rock coffins. Chat, what's your favorite way to deal with were creatures when they happen? If you have one. Kill them? Eh. The color of their clothing is their job profession, or their job profession category. If send the Drake. Oh, I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, no, I'm not playing with the new dyed colors on. Assuming you're not in an ad and can hear me say that, but I'll show you the difference here in a sec. Put them in a squad and lock them in and then use them for archery training next full moon? Wouldn't they just kill them? I feel like every time I tried that once and the dwarves just like immediately offed it. You Used to lock them into a pit, and the problem was the pathing bug that causes the game to lag bad. Pathing bug? Like when they go into a strange mood, that'll wreck the frame rate. But or like if they need to have a meeting with somebody, that can. But that's not really a bug, though. I guess the frame rate going low is. What was I looking for here? Anyway, in regards to the color, I have the default job colors on because that makes the game playable. But the dwarves that are considered nobles, so doctors, surgeons, your mayor, etc., have the new colors. So you will see some of those running around, but those are like, you know, my diagnosers, my doctors, my mayor, those types of dwarves. So if I were to turn the new colors on, which I want to say it's down here, isn't it? Like, these dwarves have the new dye stuff on, like the pinks or the reds. That's called dark pink, but and then like the amber and goldenrod stuff. Same with this green stuff, but I didn't make that, I don't think. A lot of the dwarves don't have the new clothing, but some of them do. Sure, but like I'm pretty sure that's been fixed. The only instance where okay, so if it is possible for them to path out, they'll try and path out. If it's not possible for them to path out, they won't path out, if that makes sense. There was a point where, like, if something got stuck and they couldn't path out, frame rate would just go to 0. If they theoretically could path out, but also can't, if that makes sense. Whereas if it's physically impossible for them to do it, they don't even try, and then you don't get the 0 FPS thing now. It used to be like if a dwarf got stuck in a tree, frame rate instant 0, regardless of the situation. But I can't remember when that change was made. That hasn't happened in a long time. So I'm curious if like that's still an issue. Like if you were to do that now, if you would still run into that, because the only instance that I'm aware of that can cause that to happen now is if a dwarf goes into a strange mood. But you know, that can still happen, but... Oops. How's the value of this coming along? It's getting there. What I'm trying to say is I don't think that's a bug that still exists, if it's the one that I'm thinking of. Bridged off caverns seem to hit FPS hard. Okay, I will just revert back to my old excuse of I guess I just have too big a computer to notice these issues anymore. Which is entirely possible. But I've not had a change in frame rate due to opening the caverns in ever. I mean, if they go into a strange... Oh, if it happened with a strange mood, yeah, no, that'll still cause it. But just release them. Then lock them up again. That's also, again, I don't consider that a bug necessarily, but... I mean, there is a way to solve that, right? Just put the workshop of their highest moodable skill in the room that you lock them in, and then when they go into a strange mood, well, now you go and... Hopefully you have the shit that you need in there, idiot. But, I don't know. Yeah, it's usually computer stuff. Hey, Mina. All right, let's just go to here. What's up, later on? Desokan, thanks for the 15th month. Welcome back. I'm using a Ryzen 7800 X3D is what I'm using, which gave me a like 100% frame rate boost when I first started it. So, like, it is a thick fucking CPU for this game. What's your name? Saigon. Already got that one. Elf poles. You. And you. Ay, ay, ay. There's a lot of ore around here. So I'll make these bedrooms, but then I'm going to have to mine the ore out. Not build the exact same thing I built the time before, because then it gets samey and boring. But I don't like making squares. Is maybe my favorite aesthetic thing. Ton! The farmer goes into a strange mood. Stonecutter, I presume? No, squares are for first fort. Second and third fort, more circle-y. Unless you just like squares. I mean, some people like squares. Some people like triangles. Some people like octahedrons. I don't know how you would build that in this game, but some people like that, I presume. Conglomerate is the rock of choice for ton. Conglomerate Part 2 is second rock of choice of ton. You like square towers? Sure, certainly. I do think that there are squares have their places. You get a frame rate drop when you hit over 200 dwarves. Here's the thing, right? Sometimes I get a frame rate drop when I hit 200 dwarves. Sometimes I don't. In Seed Vault, I had a fortress of 450 dwarves, and I reloaded that save file recently because I needed some footage. Why do I unlist my old streams? Because they all go public on my VOD channel, and so that I don't spam up your sub box. Because I fucking hate when people spam up my sub box with random stream like VODs, so I put them on a separate channel. It's on youtube.com/blindextras. Where was I going with this? But yeah, that fort had 450 dwarves, and I loaded it recently, and it runs at 80 frames flat. It highly depends on the fort, and what's going on in the fort, and how it's set up, and what's happening. It's a lot more than just this number of dwarves is when I start getting lag. Like, I'm at 60 FPS right now. But, like, it highly depends. So, like, and this is why, like, I just straight up don't talk about frame rate anymore, or, like, try and give people advice on frame rate, because I've learned from enough people being like, you're wrong! And it's like, no, they're right. It's hurting their frame rate, and I have fucking no idea what it is. I don't know. I give up. There are some things I'm just never gonna be fully understanding in this game, I suppose. This is gonna be my hospital. And this is going to be the rest of the hospital. Oh, how did I manage that? I thought I clicked edit. Guess I didn't. Hospital. The Sanctuary of Lanterns. A Sanctuary of Healing. The Healing of Lanterns. The healing... How about we call it the House of... The House of Healers. I like that. God, legendary surgeons? Jesus Christ, man. Let's have 2 diagnosers. For surgeons, let's have 2 surgeons. And I've got 1 bone doctor. Awesome. No visitors. $25 to $30 with 224 dwarves? That's not bad depending on your system. Like, that seems pretty reasonable, actually. Let's do rock table. And I'll just make them out of limestone. Okay, let's go back down to here. This is Saigon V. Oh, come on. They haven't finished making them yet. All your cups are gem-encrusted gold goblets. I don't have gold. I could do silver. I'm still using rock cups because we haven't gotten that far yet. The Holy Spine of the Cobalt Fellowship is going to be... Ooh. I'm going to give it to Etor because I want to make that other dwarf into a librarian. Oh, that's pleasant. It's worse than a deep tissue massage. Lovely. Your triceps and elbows have been bad lately? Oh, so is this like a form of physio? I know very little about what getting your muscles scraped means or why that would need to happen. By that I mean, I know nothing about it. Let's also grab this squad here. Let's just assign them metal armor right now. Oh, I set that as leather armor, not metal armor. Ton has created a conglomerate toy boat and offers it to the Mountain of Dyes. Conglomerate toy boat, correct. And offers it to my fortress. Hold on, let me just fix this. Metal armor. But game, I have full sets of metal armor. Maybe it's because they still have it equipped. So I have to take it off first. Weird. Maybe it's because it was all part of this. Okay, I need to look into what the fuck's going on with my military in a minute. Let's take a look at this boat. This is a conglomerate toy boat. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with plum wood and turkey leather and encircled with bands of oval conglomerate cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of conglomerate. On the item is an image of Kumil, robust mine, the dwarf and dwarves in turkey leather. Kumil, robust mine, is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Kumil, robust mine, to the position of king of the strategic roots in 48. And the item is an image of a cushioned cabochon in turkey leather. I'm going to go to here, pull this lever, open this, and then we're going to place it up here. Let's see if those slabs are done. Saigon, this one's for elf poles. And that'll eventually be for the other one, probably, but... Wait. Nope, that's Urist, not Saigon. Urist. This one is for Saigon. Yes. No, because they're not replacing their clothing with gear. That uniform that I had them set to, they only replaced their shoes. So they're not stripping naked, they're literally just taking their boots off. So no, they're not going to get a negative thought, Isvin the Drake. Sorry, I thought about that. What I'm trying to figure out is why they're not re-equipping their gear when it's available, which it is. So I need to look into that. Sorry, but I don't have that skill issue. You might, but I don't. I know how to avoid massive negative moods like that. You presume I don't know how to avoid massive negative moods like that. We are not the same. Are they? Since when? Infinity. Like, did you pay for it? Like, because the price just went up this year. I don't know if you can afford it. Sure, in the same way that their bedroom gives them a mood bonus. It also gives them another place to store clothing if you allow them to. But yes, it does, Elmiran. Let's also make more beds. Should probably just queue up automatic ones, though. Okay, you're done. Unib Merchant Nuts. Okay. Has claimed the position of the Abbot of the Cult of Canyons. All right. Do they live here? Yep. Congrats. I mean, it's a religion. I mean, I don't have to do anything special for them. If I give them an office, that'll probably make them happy, and they'll probably be able to attend meetings with people now, though. Merchant McNuts. Yeah. I don't know why he's dealing them now, but he's a nut salesman. Not to be confused with a nutty salesman. He dislikes helping others and is confident under pressure because of his outer shell, right? He prefers to be alone and is slow to trust others. He prefers to be alone. He is slow to anger, and he has an active sense of humor. He has a calm demeanor, and he tends to not reveal personal information. He finds obligations confining, though he's conflicted by this for more than one reason. He tends to be a little wasteful in working in projects, and he does not try to get things done perfectly. He is assertive, and he is often cheerful. He is pleased by his own appearance and talents, and generally acts impartially. He's rarely moved to mercy. And personally greatly respects individuals that persevere through their trials and labors, and thinks friendship is important. Values decorum, dignity, and proper behavior. 8 mixed nuts so much that he developed an allergy. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't eat 15 pints of strawberries in a day. He likes kilonite and brass and zircon and basking shark leather and reacher bone and spears and gems and ballista parts and reindeer for their large herds. And the sound of the iron of mines I'm impossible to first consume. Floating guts, cave lobster, leeks, rye beer, sweet pod seeds, and absolutely hates brown recluse spiders. Is in love with Kel, who doesn't live here. Has 2 of them, in fact. Proper religious figure. And, meat nut dealer, chat. Chat meat nut dealer. Hopefully you got the answer to that question, Bingle Bangle, by the way. Alright. Let's fly. Oops. To here. Okay, so this right here. It's gonna be sealed. Or did I fuck this up? I think I did. If they're both connected to the same lever, I super duper did. Yep, super duper did. Okay, well I can fix that. We are all adults, yes. You're not sure if you could eat 15 pints of anything in a day, but for strawberries you try. I wouldn't because they're extremely allergenic. I feel like ruining strawberries and like strawberry flavoring would be a really poor decision. It's just actually hold on. I have a sudden theory. A caravan has arrived to trade. All right, found the theory. Found the answer to why they're just, like... It's because I have 2 other squads that are claiming the armor. That's why. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. That's okay, though. I can just get them all training. It is trading time. Wake up, dwarves, it's trading time. Got a lot of yak bone amulets to get out of here. Ring. Earrings. Normal rings. I mean, I'll eat a whole mango over the sink twice a year when they're actually ripe and worth buying. Although I don't think mango's anywhere near as allergenic as strawberries, though. Let's also go down to here. Put that there. Throw some beds in. Grab this, go multi-funk. Multi-funk. Do that, do that. Just kind of skimming. Now all of the dwarves go trade. Should also do this. But I don't know. I'm not your parent, chat. You guys live your lives how you want, and if that includes, you know, doing things that make you allergic to something, live your life. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I may express my opinion that that's a dumb idea, but, I mean, hey. You live your life, friends. There we go. Now stuff is correctly assigned. Well, hopefully you don't get allergic to more. That's unfortunate. At least pollen isn't, like, you know, gonna kill you. I feel like most people have, like, some sort of a pollen allergy, though. Like, it's just irritating. It's like a lot of various types of shedding animal saliva. That's also pretty common, but I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it will make me sad, so I don't want to know what it is. Giant cave spider venom, hey? I'll buy that steel spear. Oh wow, they brought dye. It's fun. Buy all their bags. Buy all their threads and the raspberries. Buy the strawberries. Buy that scroll. Buy the cheese. The crutches and the splints because I'm lazy. And that'll do. Give them a nice big profit. Thanks for sending so many dwarves. And we're making a bunch of beds. And let's get the last of these done. Well, 2 more of these done, I guess. Maybe not the last of them. Yes, as in coloring things. I don't, you know, it's very easy for me to sit here all day, Litteran, and vent about how my body is falling apart and about the fact that I'm disabled and other things. I try not to, because it makes me feel like shit. Worse than I already do. And so I can relate, but I'm trying not to do that. So if I relate, I'm just going to sit here and vent about my own shit. And I've learned that it does 2 things. It makes chat constantly apologize for my existence, which sucks, and I hate it. And also makes me feel like shit. So if I seem like I'm deflecting you constantly bringing this stuff up, let's talk about pottery. Let's talk about video games. Let's talk about anything else. Unless you just want me to kind of ignore what you're saying. Not because I don't want you to share if you feel you have to, but because it's going to make me make my stream worse. So I'm... Talk about what you got to talk about, but you're not going to get any responses on subjects. Like, I'm going to fucking die young because my body's busted. So, I'm just trying to play Dwarf Fortress and talk about Dwarf Fortress and keep the chat from dying. And when I look at chat and I see that, I don't know. Depends on who you ask. It's like color, or zebra, potato, schedule. Epic Paras. Don't do that. I will probably ban you if you tell people to drink raw milk in my chat, actually. We don't need more, you know, misinformation spreading. That's like, you know, actively destructive to society. The colored floors back in. You know what's funny, Vaporwave Gray? Dwarf Fortress development was kind of an echo chamber for a very long time, and there was a very loud portion of like the old school fandom that always complained about the multicolored floors. So Tarn thought nobody wanted them, so he removed them for premium, and I've just been sad that they've been gone ever since because everybody who liked them never complained about them. Probably is my actual answer. I don't think it's high priority though. It's still a thing if you have ASCII enabled. So it probably is a thing. Still, if you mod the game correctly, I'd be willing to bet, but I miss it too, so I hope it comes back. You loved your big microcline ovals in your stockpiles? Yeah, no, me too. I mean, if like you turn ASCII on, you'll see the multicolored stone floors. See? So it's still there. It's just hidden when you have the graphics on. Bought early access indie game called Nitrogen Omega. That certainly sounds like a video game. Okay, you play as a mecha thing and you flying around in an airship and then you jump out. Is it like an isometric thing? I'm wondering if it's the sequel to something that I'm thinking of. Because there's like a very blocky, chunky, pixel-ish mecha game like that. That's like a sequel to another game that was much more simplistic. But sure. Mecha games are like very hit and miss for me. Like I either fucking love them or I think they're painfully boring. A lot of them I think are a bit more style over substance. Although, I don't know if this is like a hot take, but my favorite mecha game is Ace Combat. I know it's not a mecha game, but like Ace Combat plays those jets about as straight as like Gundam does. I'll admit I don't actually know if I like Ace Combat all that much, but I liked it the one time I played it at a friend's house a billion years ago, so can't really speak to any of the other games in the franchise though. How many beds do I still need? Probably a few. Oh no, we're actually caught up. Neither can have a bedroom again. Okay. Let's give this squad a break. Okay. Now you... go over to here. Go to this and then get pulled. Might as well just wait. Actually, you can pull it first. And pause the second one. You finally learned why you see... Wait, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I'd call that funny, but I guess one has to learn to laugh at yourself. Okay, now we can get this going. Link building to trigger. So now let's see if we can get that other body out of here. Spaghetti anime? Wait, are the developers Italian? Or does it, like, take place in Italy? Because Italian mecha... Okay, can we have, like, Italian mecha mafia, though? Wait, to which question? Because you just responded with... So the devs are from Italy and it takes place in Italy? Now I'm suddenly questioning, like, the term spaghetti western. Huh. You binged a lot of my videos in the last month, and it was your first introduction to Dwarf Fortress as a whole. That always amazes me because of how long this game's been around. But glad you enjoy it, Darkroom 15. Do you do photography? I'm just wondering because of your name, Darkroom. Now we've got this dwarf coming to pull the lever. So this should open up. So now that that lever's been pulled, we go dig through this. Wish us luck. This should create enough speed of water flowing that it should allow that body to flow out. Good luck, dwarf. Please don't drown. Should be fine. I made an airlock, so it should be fine. Okay, dwarf walks out. Then I go up here and give this other lever a pull. Now let's see if we can drain our well. I guess you didn't hear what I said earlier, so I'm just not going to worry about it. Now I need this to drain out enough. What I should have actually really done is just put a bridge up here. So we'll let this drain. And drain it shall. It's actually going to look pretty cool, potentially. And the bones stubbornly stay there. Yep. I have a backup for this plan if this doesn't work. This actually looks kind of awesome. Like, truly, that looks kind of awesome. Like, it's going to flow all the way down into here. So let's just watch it. It's a really cool embark. It's a very steep embark, but yeah, it's pretty cool too. Like, if a dwarf falls into this, they're kind of in trouble, but... yeah, that's pretty dope, actually. Let's see if it's made enough of a dent yet. It is actually making a dent, because this is getting down to 6 deep. Because this is draining faster than it's filling. It is, yeah. You can see it draining on all sides, which is good. So this should actually be enough to eventually push it out as it is now. We did it, chat. We did it, friends. Saigon's body is no longer stuck in the well. Good news, everybody. Good news. Kiddo pulls the lever. The child of Cricket and Zachris. Which then recloses this. There's still a glove in there. But this should all drain pretty quick. The Dyer Guild now requires a Grand Guild Hall, by the way. So I have to increase the value of my Dyer's Guild, which should be pretty easy. I mean, it is this. Let's throw a couple tables, because I want to make traction bench, just 4 of these.
Woo!
Let's also throw some chairs in. Or, never mind, I don't have any chairs. Don't have any statues. Let's do some rock statues out of malachite. Let's do some copper thrones. Maybe 10 of them. Do I have bookcases? I do. I has one. I shall put the one up there. Put some gem-encrusted thingies up there. You know, for looks, of course. Check if I have any instruments, which I don't. I could put more gem windows in. Let's do that. Oh, never mind. Don't have 3 gems. I'm glad you found a remedy that helps. It's all good. Elmiran, I got this. Don't worry about it. It's called, you know, part of the job at this point. Start cutting some gems. I will be okay. You have a question. If I let stone blocks in a 5x5 formation fall into the wall, will they stay in a 5x5 formation? Blocks, no. Earth, yes. So blocks will not maintain the formation when they land. Like wall chunks, like earth will. Blocks will deconstruct when they hit the ground. Basically, they break on impact. What's the value of this? 39. We'll approve that, so it stops blinking at me. I can't drown my fort dark room with my well because my well is right here, and the reservoir fort that I was draining is about 30 levels below my fort, so it would be very difficult for me to flood my fort in that way. Thanks for the 10-pack, Lil Jaeger. I mean, Odin. It's very kind of you. Hey, Devilish, what's up? And some more migrants have arrived. Well, back to making beds. Just gonna make beds when there isn't beds. And I'm also gonna jump into the fort briefly. And I'm going to... Housekeeping is never done, pretty much, yeah. I need another stockpile, is actually what I need. I need like a furniture stockpile. But I kind of want it close to here, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth that area for the stockpile and build around it. So I'm going to make a furniture stockpile about right here. It's going to be kind of a room unto itself. Actually, let's just go maybe a little further this way. Let's do 8x11. That. Let's do 12. No, 8x11 fits better. So let's do that. But I think I'm going to move it a little bit this way. Just can't decide where I want it. Yeah, let's do it this way. And this is just going to be for furniture. Just trying to think if there's anything I don't want in here. I don't really want wheelbarrows. So I don't want them carrying those around randomly. Don't want siege ammo in there. Don't want sandbags. Certainly don't want bins. Well, actually, they can... no. No bins. No barrels. No bags. There we go. Any zombies yet? I actually have not. There was that necromancer who came by, right? But we did have a zombie visitor briefly, but he left quite quickly. Uh-oh. Oh, hey! We found the drowned dwarf. And it seems that Limuel here is chucking the body. Which is unfortunate, but... That's definitely time for bed. Mind. Definitely time for bed. Is losing in interesting ways? Does that perspective hold water? I mean, it can be caused by water. So Darkerman YouTube chat, you guys can all weigh in on this too if you want. They've heard from the perspective that a lot of fun in Dwarf Fortress is in losing in interesting ways. I think that is the game, kind of. Because losing is progression in Dwarf Fort, right? Like, you're rewarded for starting new forts. Because you see more parts of the world, and you create more reoccurring characters that can appear in your next fort. So, in a way, like, the more time that you spend in a fortress, the more... What about this dwarf? Saigon's Cybrecht. The more time you spend in a world playing on different fortresses, the more opportunities you have for new, notable things to happen in the world, and the more interesting that world becomes. Yeah, it's more like, to me, losing in Dwarf Fortress, or what I guess the community describes as losing, is kind of less losing in the traditional sense, like failure state, and more of a time to move on to the next thing. If that makes any sense. At least that's how I've always kind of thought about it. It's like, well, that fort was fun. That was an entertaining activity that we did, and now it's time to move on to the next one. So I don't know if it's a perspective per se. I think that's just how the community treats fortresses. I mean, this is a game about having a god complex. It's Reg. Actually, that's not actually going to work at all. Need to build the wall on this first. I think that's also a pretty good point. A fortress rarely just ends. Like, you know, I think Dwarf Fortress is a game about telling stories, right? And a story has to have an ending. And I think in Dwarf Fortress that can mean you get tired of playing the fortress and decide to set it on fire because lol. I mean... That's been a storytelling element in video games since SimCity, at the very least. And I think that there's also the element of you've seen what you wanted to see from a particular fort, so it's time to do something else, so you retire it. Or it's too slow. I mean, that can mean that you just don't want to play it. I'm kind of classifying that as like just not wanting to play it anymore. I mean, that's kind of why I stopped playing Head Punch. Was because I genuinely just got bored. I mean, also, like, sometimes a fortress will start getting destroyed, and I'll try and save it for a bit, and then just kind of go, fuck it. Just watch it fall over. Is there an incentive to starting a new world? Only if, like, updates have come out that require you to need a new world. The only real incentive to me is to keep playing in the same world. In fact, you're more incentivized to keep playing in the same world, because if you keep playing in the same world, then you will, like I said, discover more characters. Like, chat, please help me list off the incentives of playing in the same world. Also, you'll get fast responses in the Twitch chat for questions like these, Darkroom. And you'll get them from other people instead of just me, but... I mean, when new patches that require new worlds release, that's basically the only incentive to start a new world. Unless, like, you've killed literally everything and every faction is at war with everybody and the world's unplayable. I don't think there really is much incentive to start a new world, generally. The incentive is all in continuing to play the same world and see more of it. At least for me. Yeah, totally. That's how I didn't break. That's how I sprained one of my toes once when I was younger. Darkroom. It was building a sandcastle and kicking it as the tide came in. Because my little sister put a rock in it, and I didn't know. Sure. I mean, yeah, not liking your world, I think, is more or less the only reason to start a new world, or being tired of it and seeing everything you want to see in it. And I think that tweaking the world settings kind of fits that pretty well. So yeah, I'd agree with that. Basically, like, deciding you want to play in a new world is the reason to start a new world. Let's just pause that for right now. We'll do large gem. And large gem. What's the value of this? 55 hundo? A little ways to go. Only in that general vicinity, but they won't attack other fortresses. You'll only really run into them if you play in adventure mode Xylium. I feel like I need to just, like, specify that whenever that comes up, that demons roam the world after you free them. Because, like, I think some people get a very different mental image of what that actually is. It's like, do they roam the world? Yeah, technically, but you're not going to run into them in fort mode. Some worlds can also be way too punishing. That can be a positive or a negative, yeah. I really need to keep these dwarves happy. So I'm going to throw this in as part of that meeting area. I think it's the Lilac of Glens is the Dyer's Guild, which is this. Yep. So that almost gets me up to that value need that I need. Gets me up to 9,400, putting that artifact in there. Okay, I need pig iron to make steel. And this is going. Looking good too. Down here, let's go traction benches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you like to randomly save to alternate timeline and then after a while jump back in the timeline a few embarks. Oh, really? I guess I kind of did that with that last fort. It's like returning to an old world after not playing it for a while is really neat because you constantly see references to old artifacts and shit that you made. if you're good at remembering that sort of thing. All right, so I should have a mostly functional hospital at this point. At this, wow, let's put an extra bucket in there. Let's put two of the, well, let's just bump you up to 10, you up to 10. You up to 10, and you up to 10. Also curious if they're going to get colored cloth in here. Like, are we going to get expensive cloth? We're just over here making radish dye left and right, saffron dye, raspberry dye. Clothing is all ending up back there. What, necromancer towers are oblivion gates? Is that, or are you referring to like digging too deep as oblivion gates? I think either could work, actually. New baby was born. One of my sheep gave birth to 3 lambs. And Deller, the miner, is giving birth to a girl. Congratulations, Deller the miner. I never said with tantrums. You said with tantrums. What gives me that impression? I have zero belief that this fort's going to descend into tantrums unless I intentionally fuck with my dwarves. No, this fort's going to turn violent, and by that I mean I think we're going to get attacked. Because we were getting visited by a necromancer. We got, like, various evil entities visiting and showing up and wandering through the map. We had several visitors from zombies earlier. I never said it was going to get violent with tantrums. If my forts are going to descend into tantrums, I practically have to do it intentionally. So, beers for the baby. Oh yeah, no, I mean, the baby needs its first sips, right? Very important. Very important. Yeah. No, I mean, I always feel like I'm just being shitty when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, at risk of sounding shitty. I basically need to intentionally let a fortress fall into tantrums. Like, if I'm going to have a fortress descend into madness, it's something I literally have to do intentionally. I disagree that research doesn't have value, Kage, because I think watching knowledge spread is fascinating. Like, if a dwarf in your fort discovers a thing in astronomy, and then 200 years later, if you're still playing in the same fort and you're getting astronomer visitors, that's because of your dwarf. Like, that's cool to me. I don't know. I think that, depending on how they do research, if they do make research have more value, it might make me like the game less, but... Just waiting for these ads to end. I'm not even sure what you were responding to, bootlegger. So yeah, I guess I kind of agree. I have no preference between worlds, I just like variety. So sometimes I do older worlds, sometimes I do younger worlds. This is a pretty young world. The world I did not the last world I played, but the one before, was like 1,000 years old. I don't have a preference. It's just very different kinds of themes. It's like, do you prefer high fantasy or low fantasy? Or do you want more grim, dark fantasy? I like variety. So sometimes I play old, sometimes I play young worlds. I'm really looking forward to the day that there's 2-lane traffic in the road next to me again. Because a police car just drove by and they just left their siren on the entire time when they would normally just, like, drive by. And he was also going slowly to, like, warn incoming traffic. Medium rare fantasy with a touch of basil. Damn right. You know what? Honestly, I'm in, wizard. Send it. I'll take 2. Could you get some cilantro on there, too? While we're at it. I think I may have to sell a bunch of cats. Got too many cats. Like, if you watch my video on ghosts, Sven, the Drake, like, the video I made on the fort that I let get destroyed by ghosts, that fortress. Also, it looks like Thighcut, the stray kitten, has adopted Reg, the militia captain. When I built that fortress, the goal was, I'm not going to take care of my dwarves. I'm just going to let shit get bad. So I didn't memorialize a single dead dwarf for the entirety of that fort. And you know what? I literally had to dig into hell to end that fort because we kept getting migrants and the dwarves were like still mostly functional. Even though every like, I don't know, 2 minutes or so, a dwarf would randomly die to a ghost killing them. And all of the dwarves that weren't randomly dying constantly were like scared shitless and tantruming constantly. But like the fort was still mostly functional. I just had to try really hard to actually end it. Like, actually ending a fort with poor moods is, like, bloody hard these days. It used to be a lot easier. Like, I kind of have to go out of my way to do it at this point. Okay, so I need, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more bedrooms. Ish. So you tend to get more people who tantrum or become haggard? I mean, that's what the expelling task, like, job is for, right? Like, if you've got dwarves that are haggard already, just expel them. I mean, kind of sucks, but, I mean, if you gotta save your fort, you gotta save your fort. Or, you know, just, like, lock them in a room until they die. Which is kind of grim. But, like, you know, it's an option when, like, if you want to preserve the sanctity of your next fortress. But no, I mean, usually at this point, because I've played so much of this game, if I get my dwarves tantruming a lot, it's because I'm doing it kind of intentionally. Or just, like, being willfully negligent, which I'd also do sometimes, because sometimes that's fun. Which I guess is kind of the same thing, but, like, I kind of consider the two things slightly different. Like, for me, being willfully negligent is just like, yeah, I know I need more beds, I'll fix that later. It's kind of me being willfully negligent. Whereas, like, me going, I'm going to be mean to these dwarves and see how mad I can get them is very much, yeah, I'm just not going to memorialize any dwarves. Which I guess is also a kind of willful negligence, but different vibes. It's all just vibes. That's all it really is. And, yeah. You know what was funny? Ilmirin is in that in that fortress, like, the dwarves didn't even have bedrooms either. They literally had one dormitory that was, like, full of goats with mud on the floor. Like, it was not a nice place to live. By any counts. I guess there was, like, a few aquifers dripping from the ceiling, which may have been making them happier-ish. But, like, you know, I tried my best to make it very hellish in that fort. It's like sleeping in a barn that hasn't been mucked out. You know, I've slept in barns, and it was quite a memorable experience, actually. Although usually it was, like, up on the second floor, like, with the hay bales and such, and you just hear mice at night, and you go, great, cool, please don't come up here. Blind doesn't taste the soap and cilantro? Yeah, because I'm a properly programmed human being. I also don't taste the gasoline in corn beer, but some people do. One more step to recreating me genetically with gene splicing. Knowing that I don't taste soap and cilantro. Having spent, to elaborate on what I said about corn beer, having spent way too much time drinking craft beer, there's a trend that I've discovered that I think is about as common, personally, as, like, tasting, like, soap and cilantro. And it's, people who drink a corn lager or, like, a corn-based beer, and it has, like, a kerosene aftertaste to them. Like, I've heard that so frequently from certain people that it has to just be a genetic thing. What I want to know, and I've asked this of many people, and they always just kind of look at me funny. To the people who taste soap and cilantro, the fuck you doing eating soap? Like, did you curse a lot as a kid and your grandma was mean? Like, why do you know what soap tastes like? Because I, for one, have never eaten soap. I mean, I've smelled soap, but soap smells like whatever it's scented as. Which I've never had cilantro-scented soap. You drank a lot of bathwater as a kid. Oh! That doesn't seem good. I mean, I ate a lot of dirt as a kid, but, like, so I can't really talk. But, like, I turned out okay, I think. Mostly. But that was more like, you know, being dumb and falling off my bicycle more than anything. Crunch. Yeah, I need that grit, you know? Really get my dinner down. Drinking corn beer is a problem. I'll have you know, one of the best lagers I've ever had in my life was a corn-based lager. So, disagree. You just need to eat or drink better corn beer. Unrelated to corn beer, I made a salsa last night and then was like, yeah, I have enough for like several dinners, and then I ate all of it. So, it had corn in it. It was very tasty. Yeah, because you live in a limiting, restrictive country that bars all of your ability to be creative with your alcohol brewing. That's not a good thing, that creativity is limited by draconian, restrictive laws that make your beer boring. You would actually have better beer. Maybe you could keep up with Belgium. If you know, were able to do interesting things with it. I pity you. I truly... Sorry, I can't keep my straight face anymore. I mean, hey, you know, we all have our preferences. I will fire all of the shots at Germany and Belgium for their beer. For one reason. I think German beer and Belgian beer is very good. Truly. But it's exceptionally fucking boring. However, there is something to be said for taking something very simple and doing it really, 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 really well. There is something to be said for that. Belgium especially, really fucking good at the wheat ales. But like, guys, have some fucking creativity. Like, do something interesting. Please, for the love of alcoholism. I need some variety in my life. Which is, you know, why I really like weird beer. That's my opinion on ciders. They make my blood sugar go brrr, but I like a really strong imperial cider that's like a 7 to like 14%, and then just watering it down 50-50 with like, not this specifically because, well, I mean, this is an invisible can. This is just a fizzy bubbly with lime in it, but just like a plain fizzy water, like a Perrier or something. I'm not a big cider person, mostly because they hurt my blood sugar, unless it's extremely dry. I really like a cider that's so dry that it has more of a beer texture to it. But if it's like a sweet cider, nah, I'm out. Not really my thing. Well, that's just because, like, you know, small country, a lot of breweries close together. But yes, I do think that Belgian beer, the stuff that they're known for, is often very uninteresting. Yes. Doesn't make it bad. It just means it's a lot of the same. Gas smells horrible and y'all are fucked in the head. That's all I have to say. Gas smells like death. But it's okay. I'd rather be sick in the head with a little bit of wealth. Good song. Tonguedale, thank you very much for the Prime sub for a second month. Welcome back. The Canadians brew maple syrup. Yeah, and we store it right next to our sled dog team and our pet mooses. Hold on, I gotta go, like, dust off the top of my igloo real quick. All right, done. Sorry, it's 45 below outside, and if it keeps piling up there, it might collapse. And I just got the new piece of the roof up, so I don't want it to cave in. I mean, asking if Canadians brew maple syrup is like asking, do Americans all have a 50 caliber rifle, 45 shotguns, 35 Glocks, and I don't know, all-terrain military vehicle? And they also all wear cowboy hats and own 15 horses and attend a megachurch. And drive a normal Hummer. And look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Which is funny because he's not American, but like, just ripped. How did you know all that about me? I don't know, it's just, I'm projecting. And a musket, right, yeah. No, it's Dad's antique musket, and in your grandpa's musket, and your great-great-grandpa's musket, and certain flags that will get your great-great-great-grandpa canceled. I mean, what? I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of... jokes aside, though, there's a lot of maple syrup made in Quebec. Have I ever made maple syrup? Nope. Do I have any interest in it? Nope. There are farms what do that. This made you really laugh? You're welcome. I'm glad. I'm in one of those weird moods where, like, I slept well enough to be funny, but not well enough to, like, not, like, throw shade. So hopefully it's, like, an acceptable amount of shade. If it starts getting dark out there, let me know, and I'll, like, turn the lights up a bit. You don't like that sort of Hummer? I like someone who's really good at humming a good tune. I actually don't like any Hummers. I think they're just really fucking stupid-ass looking trucks. Like, there's nothing about those vehicles that's appealing to me. Those are some of the dumbest looking cars on Earth. Hey, Red Dog, what up? Or as I once referred to a hot ride as a penis-sized compensation vehicle. And the lady who was pouring my beer at the time at the bar that I was in burst out laughing and spilled a bunch of beer. So. You know, I would almost argue about, like, a Hummer's use as a military vehicle, but that's a discussion for a different stream, probably. I didn't waste any beer. I told a joke. She laughed. That's not on me, mate. Holy shit, it's 4:30? When did that happen? Oh, sure. If you want me to get really salty and, like, unnecessarily serious really quickly, start talking to me about, like, urban assault vehicles, quote unquote, and, like, large trucks and vehicles that were intended for the military as overstock and then got marketed to people, and now people think that they're acceptable to drive. If you want me to get real salty real fast, that's a subject to get me real salty. Not mad at anybody here in particular, but, oof. I mean a happy wagon? I mean a get fucked mobile, or a bankruptcy mobile, or like a small penis sign. You know, most pickup trucks. Anyway. I mean, we have plenty of the salt. I live in Canada, and as I talked about earlier, I live in an igloo, right? So, right outside, there's like 85 feet of snow still, because it's like we're already hitting winter. Summer's over practically. And because school's about to start, we need to start plowing the roads. So there's all tons of salt out in the streets already, frankly. So I don't even need to get salty, because it's all outside already there. And if I did get salty, then I might offend you there, bud, and that would be unfortunate. I have to say sorry there, eh? I apologize to every single person who lives in Toronto.
You suck.
I did actually see a video of a car made out of ice once. I want to say I watched a car made out of Lego first, and I ended up on a truck made out of ice. You know what's funny? I've literally never seen a single second of Letterkenny. So I have no idea. You know, genuinely, Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't care about hockey. I will make fun of them whenever they lose. In general, though, I kind of just feel bad for Toronto. Like, Toronto is the Canadian city that tries so hard and just gets wrecked every opportunity they get. Like, something good could finally happen in Toronto and they just get demolished by, like, stupidity. And it's such... I always feel so fucking bad for them. To me, the Canadian show that I most relate to is Corner Gas, so... Yeah. So for those of you who missed it, earlier I made this tiny square into its own tavern. So these two vampires are just reciting poetry and telling each other stories. Wait, hold on. What was the name of that poem? Phlegms ever onward, and cheese, and the defensive Finns. Are the Finnish defensive of their cheese? The relic noseless. My friend Purity. Well, I guess they'll be very celibate because they live in the day weeps. Really? Is that called rain? We see sandals. Oh, must be summer. My friend Cooperation. Uncanny genius. It's an essay. Crossbow the truth. Bonk! Right? Just shot in the head. I mean, as I've said many times when I talk smack about cars being dumb, Darkroom, especially when it comes to bigger trucks, I have nothing against the ownership of vehicles. The existence of vehicles is what allows me to go camping when I go spend time with my family. I have no interest in them, but, like, I'm happy that they exist because they let me get places I couldn't get otherwise. Asterisk, that being said, I'm also very opinionated what should and shouldn't be driven in the city. And what isn't is not appropriate to be driven in the city because I'm always a pedestrian, so being on the side of the road, I have takes on what should and should not be driven in a city. That being said, if you're in the country, like, fucking do whatever you want. Like, that's the point of being in the country, is that you leave people alone and do your own thing, generally. Within, like, the realms of legality, hopefully. So, you know, if you live out in the boonies, like, yeah, of course you should own a rifle because you live in the boonies and you might get eaten by a bear. Or you need to defend your dog because it's getting attacked by coyotes or whatever. You should also probably have a vehicle so that you can haul your trash out. Like, yeah, no, there's no issue there for me. It's purely just a... If you're going to be a dick in the city, yeah, just go away. Please. Most people forget PEI. Sorry, it needs to grow a little bit before I'll believe it's actually a province. PEI is beautiful. I love it. Just, please don't take that too seriously. Anyway, today's gotten rambly. I don't know what's come over me, but something strange just happened right now. I builded a fort entrance over a volcano mouth, sure, and the mountain home caravan arrived and their wagon was happily rolling over the road I made, and then all of a sudden lava mist popped out of the lava and burned the wagon. Are there, what are they called? Are there any magma crabs below it? Because magma crabs can 100% have that effect. Slaughtering some of my sheep. Also some of these cats. Got way too many of them. But that was probably, there's probably something either above it or below it that, like, went at it or shot something at it. Because usually that manifests in the format of just, like, lava mist suddenly out of nowhere. I wonder how you could do that. Like... running like a sport shooting range. Actually, isn't that just like air rifle though? Omiran? The mayor finally meets with the outpost liaison, who is Maffel. Oops. Maffel worked Lancer. Any friends in the fort yet? I wonder. Oh! Schmitty Sent is the Outpost Liaison's nephew. Ain't that fun? I always love it when the Outpost Liaison's like related to some of your dwarves. Gig meets with the Outpost Liaison, Maffel. And Maffel says, "Merit deserves reward. I come here to establish this colony as official land of our realm." Could you imagine the trade wagons? I don't think we're ready yet. I'm gonna have to deny that. But, pleasant offer. Next time, perhaps. Next time, perhaps. Sure, I mean... I'm saying I guess that's how you would go shooting without interacting with gun people, is just doing that, but anyway. Let's do... Ooh. Glamorate. Actually, let's do this. The issue, actually, is how do I get up here? I think the way to do it is probably this. And then just cancel this for now down here, and then we'll rebuild this later. was part of an early trade expedition that joined your fort as a migrant. One of the craziest things that ever happened to me was I had 2 guards from a trade expedition that were hanging out during, like, you know, seasonal trading, right? And then they had a kid, and them and their kid immediately joined the fortress. It was one of the most, like, that can happen moments I've ever had in this game. Like, maybe ever. I was like, what? I still don't know if that's an intended feature or not. Like, that might actually be a bug, but... I'm trying to remember what fort that happened in. Yeah, it was Anchor Baby, but I'm trying to remember what fort that was in. It was one of the videos it was one of the forts I made into a video. I don't know, chat, you probably remember better than I do. Was it Weather Mountains? So it was the Gremlin Fort. That's kind of what I was thinking. Oh shit, was it the boat one? Oh yeah, no, right. Following 10 years following one dwarf. Correct. Yes. That wasn't Weather Mountains, was it? Was that the name of that fort? My memory ain't what it used to be. The design of that fort was cool. The VODs are still there, and the fort still exists. I mean, you could still go download the save file. Kitten, please move. I agree the design of Long Death was neat, but the playability of Long Death and the streamability of Long Death, unfortunately, was just not all that by the end of it. Which kind of sucks, really. But you know, what can you do, right? Yeah, Weather Mountains was the tutorial for it, not the Gremlin Fort. Now I'm thinking, like, what was the name of the Gremlin Fort? It was something similar to that. Or at least we're all caught up on beds. I was just looking to see if any clothing has shown up in these. We'll just get these. Get the stuff out of here first. I'm also going to just start cutting blocks. Rock blocks. 1,000. All right, Twitch chat. Our friend in the YouTube chat here, Darkroom15, says they're going to go play a scary game. So please don't make any scary noises. Got it? No scary noises. You might startle Darkroom. If you're finding wild ones, Tungdill, in the caverns, you can't do that. It's not possible. If they show up as part of like a performance troupe, then they can. But they will never settle in your fortress from the caverns, which sucks. And Tarn has expressed much interest over the years of wanting to change how that works so that they could. But you are not alone in the feeling of that sucking. Settling noise at 3 a.m. That's not scary. That's just normal noise that comes with living in modern society. Veteran. Although I like the so right next to me over here, there's a door which goes into my laundry room, which is like basically a closet with a washing machine in it. It's connected to a vent which is connected to the roof, and I need to get like a wind filter for that roof because it gets really windy here sometimes, and the pressure changing in that room causes that door to shake when it's really windy, so I usually just jam a sock underneath it so that the door stops moving. But the first time it did that, it like genuinely woke me up in the middle of the night with me thinking that there was somebody in there trying to break out. Like it sounded like someone was like rattling on that door on the inside. But, like, you know, I figured out what it was in all of, like, 5 seconds because it was also really windy. So I was like, oh yeah, that's weird. Anyway, I should probably go seal that. So, no, I've looked into it. I literally, there's a filter I can buy that I can put at the top of the like, connection to the wall, which will fix that. And I'll do that one of these days, but it's just not a high priority at the moment. Do I live urban or rural? I live in an apartment in a city. I can't drive, and I've talked about this many times. And that's also why I've talked many times about not being able to, or I will never be able to live in, like, a house. Because that would require me to... How can I fix this? Kind of screwed this up a little bit. Because that would require me to... be able to drive, so no, I live very urban because I have to. Also relatively close to a police station, which is why another siren just went by. No, it's fair. I get a little snippy sometimes, but off of about things that I talk about a lot, it's my own issue that I need to get better at. So it's not your fault. It's all good. You are allowed to ask. Eh, that's not what I want. That's what I want. That sucks. Tongdil? Let's do this. All right, so are you going to give me your entire life savings in order for me to become profanely wealthy? Actually, instead of that, how about I just start a religion? And as part of the religious doctrine, it requires you giving me everything that you have and also driving me around and being my personal butler. Actually, maybe I should just start a cult. It might be faster. I have to look into the legality of that, especially after saying that publicly on the internet. Do cults pay taxes? Anyway. We're bringing the cult back? I wasn't to where we got rid of it, hobo. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's your cult. I'm starting a cult, unrelated to your cult. Because apparently the plan, the way for me to move to the country is to become obscenely wealthy. I was always under the opinion that I just needed to marry a doctor, but I also don't want to get married, so I'm good. I also don't generally talk to people. So that's unlikely to happen. Scientology made it work. The amount of, like, absurdity that they had to go through to actually get Scientology credited as a religion, though. I've watched so much, like, so many dumb documentaries on that stupid fucking religion. Quote unquote. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would need to sell out way more than I'm ever comfortable with doing. Considering, like, doing this for a living, I've had opportunities that could have made me theoretically obscenely wealthy if I'd gone down that route. And I didn't. Because I don't want to hate myself. You know, as somebody who's spent unironically large amounts of time in hospitals, the whole concept of that, Athiok, is, like, nauseating to me. Like, it's like, huh! The whole concept of just, like, oh, you might trip, like, need a bunch of like medical care and then fall in love with the nurse or doctor is just like, ugh. I know I gather it's a joke, but just get a polycule and live in a commune? Sure. I definitely want to live with a lot of people with connection and commitment issues. That absolutely sounds lovely and mentally healthy. Hard pass, I'm good. What am I doing? Making stairs? What are you doing? Well, actually a ramp, but... Laura the Weaver has been taken by a Fey mood. Oops. Tiny has claimed, or actually has made a lot of tunics. Several pieces of cave spider silk and some pink cave spider silk. Ooh. Where'd you go, Tiny? I missed you. Here you are. Well, that's good to hear, Aranama. I have no anti-poly prejudice. If you want to be in a poly relationship with your perfect group of friends, by all means. I just don't want to be in yours, so and have no interest in taking part. That's all. What do you need, Dwarf? Rough gems. Rough gems. Only the roughest gems. Yeah, if you want to live with a poly fam, then go nuts. It's not for me. It's just not for me. It's malachite. So it's technically copper ore, but I'm just making it into blocks because it looks cool. So, yeah.
Don't invite me. Tie for you content.
Don't invite you to the poly fam or something? Or no? I mean, that's basically what it is. Although, so some of you might be familiar with this guy because he's been around for forever, but I listen to Cox and Crendor in the morning, which is Jesse Cox and Crendor. And Jesse Cox has a take, which I very much agree with, which is, no, I don't want to go to your orgy, but please invite me so I feel included. And that's kind of how I feel about, like, polyamorous groups, is like, no, I have no interest in taking part of that. I don't have the emotional accessibility for that. But please invite me, because then I'll feel honored. And then I'll say, no, and then move on with my day. Let's follow that strange mood again. Seems like that's what you needed there, Dwarf. But that's so real, though. No, totally, right? I'm just trying to, like, emphasize that I ain't hating. It's not for me. But, like, you know, if you know a polyfam that wants to, like, move next door to me and also act as my private chauffeurs, I'm okay with that. That'd be cool. That is a lot of waxworking demonstrations. Holy shit. Works furiously. 2 sardonyxes, sheep's bone, sheep leather, silk, cave spider silk, giant cave spider silk cloth. Nice, nice, nice. Pew, 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 pew. Shrug, live your life, let her in. Just please share, don't hog everybody in the world. I had this joke with my sister-in-law once, who at the time was in a poly relationship, where she mentioned that... I'm trying to think what her exact wording was because I don't want to misquote her. Actually, no, I'll just be vague for sake of privacy. Anyway, essentially at the time she was in a group relationship with like 6 women, and the joke just kind of became out, well, Erica's why I'm single, because she's hogging everybody. Which was a funny afternoon. You know, people are attracted to people like them, right? I'm a weirdo. Just not that kind of weirdo. What was I doing? Built bedrooms, got caught up on that. Crafting up here. I need to stockpile this stuff up a bit better. Trying to decide what area I want to rebuild next. I guess I'm just kind of working on this. That's what I was working on. Then that strange mood happened and it distracted me. Just got that malachite in here. The only difference between religion and a cult is the cult's official recognition as number of worshippers. As somebody who was raised very religious, I completely disagree with that take. The difference between a religion and a cult is a religion you can leave. And they won't go after you. Cult, you can't. Like, the idea of a cult is to just continuously elope more people. Whereas a religion, like, yeah, they want you around because it helps them stay funded. But they'll just kind of passively, aggressively be sad if you leave. Whereas a cult will actively pursue you. Tiny, the weaver, has created a short skirt. I want a dwarf with a short skirt and a long beard. And he offers it to the Mountain of Dyes. Who gets our skirt, chat? Is that the mayor's skirt? I think that's the mayor's skirt. I think that's Gig's skirt. Gig's gonna wear the short skirt. Long beard. Gig, go get the skirt. It's your birthday. It's not, but go get your skirt. This is a short cave spider silk skirt. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with cave spider silk and sheep leather and oak, and it is made from cave spider silk. The thread is pale pink, finely colored with radish dye. This object is adorned with hanging rings of limestone and menaces with spikes of steel sardonyx. Oops. On the item is an image of Kogan, craft stilled, the dwarf and a cave dragon in cave spider silk. The cave dragon is striking down Kogan. The artwork relates to the killing of the dwarf Kogan by the cave dragon. In the sensations of scintillating in the mountain, in sensations in the scintillating mountain. These are words, combinations of words that are hard to say in in unison, so I will jump. Mountain in the mid-spring of 137 during Umaz Sangozm, the attack of strikes. Are they attacking a strike? Like, did the guilds go on strike or something? On the item is an image of fish control, the asymmetrical cave spider silk cape in giant cave spider silk. On the item is an image of the dwarf Ozed Hextreams and the prim vandal, the Hextreams, the prim vandal, and the goblin in sheepsbone. Of Ozed Hextreams, the prim vandal, the goblin in sheepbone. The goblin is striking down Rimtar rhyme syrups. The arc relates the killing of the dwarf Rimtar rhyme syrups by the goblin Hextreams, the prim vandal in sound pulleys in the scintillating mountain in the early spring of 92 during Umaz Gam, the attack of clubs. On the item is an image of dwarves in sardonyx. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of Rhodes Spine by the boat of meeting. Nice. In the of the strategic boots in 103. That is one fucking hell of a short skirt, man. It's got like multiple patterns all the way around. Like, you know those medieval paintings that are just like, it's like a red background with like colors, and then it's just like every single one is just like a different duel happening and some dude getting his head hacked off. It's like that, but in a skirt format. I mean, like a strip of fabric, like I'm thinking like a short, like a mini skirt in real life. Like, you know, you get like that much fabric, right? Yeah, it's just like, it's like 4 different murals, right? I don't know, that's not too crazy. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but like, it's not that crazy. The mayor feels pleasure after putting on a truly splendid item. This is juicy. Yeah, damn right it does. It even has a coffee cup holder. It's crazy. Always makes me wish this game had tapestries. You know, like, I learned not super long ago that you can make cloth images and decorate clothing with cloth images, which I should start doing, actually. How much cloth do I have lying around? Kind of a lot. Like, let's just make cloth image. And I will just say 20. And I will do that specifically out of rope reed cloth. And I will specify the image. And I will make that the image of Glitterface, the Creation of Colors, which is an image of a dwarf, a hydra, and a lilac devil, and a peach-faced lovebird. And the dwarf is raising the cloth. The hydra is mutilated by the lilac devil. The dwarf is admiring the lilac devil. The peach-faced lovebird is traveling the art. The dwarf is greeting the peach-faced lovebird. The image is a symbol of the Mountain of Dyes, the local dwarven government. Just going with that, because that's badass, I guess. Leather engravings are essentially tampered. Can you engrave leather? I mean, what I really want is I want the dyes system to be expanded into paints. I mean, I don't want to overwork the artists, Grognik. Okay, let's go down here. And then I will also go back to here. And I will go here and do this. But yeah, I would really like them to expand the dye system into paints. because I think that would be really cool. I don't know if or when we'd ever actually get that, but I'd be very happy if we did. No, I agree. Drake, I definitely agree. More opportunities to make crazy things based on their lives and the history of the world, the better. Actually, I can just dig through all of this. I can also dig through this up here. And then malachite all the way over to there. And I will build a great malachite bridge. I'm thinking the military goes up here. So let's work on that. Perfect. Very convenient. Happen to have a lot of conglomerate lying around. For paint on the statues? Yeah, no, like being able to like enhance engravings or like decorate buildings with paints. Or like another thing that I've always wanted is like maybe it would take like 4 or 8 cloth or something, but the ability to make rugs or like pad beds to make them better, or like add cushions to chairs or thrones or something. Because like I don't know about you, but like a copper throne just seems uncomfortable. Like there's a lot of directions they could go with it. There's a lot of directions they could go with it. And now that I've done that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This squad is going to go up here. It's going to get the training going, right? And you're going to go train. Except, not only are you going to train, but you're also going to store all your crap up here. Soldiers will store their individually assigned weapons and armor here. Dwarves will store equipment, such as ammunition. They'll also sleep here, because I'm about to add some beds to it. More specifically, the beds are going to go back here, but they're still going to be up here. They're going to be behind a wall, and built in there, we'll put at least, I don't know, 12 beds up in here. Let's just go here. Block. We'll make this into limestone for the corner. A ballista in the barracks would look mean. It would also be pretty irrelevant because I won't make any ammo for it. I'm trying not to use any ballista or things until the update for Siege stuff comes out. Because I don't want to, how do I word this? I don't want to overly dedicate time to explaining like how those mechanics work, because it's likely they'll be pretty different pretty soon. I don't know, just seems kind of like a bit of a moot point at this point in time. Just for looks? Nah, I'm good. You're welcome to do that though. Your winky face makes me uncomfortable. It makes me think that you have ulterior motives of telling me to do something like that, like I may accidentally shoot my own dwarves or something. Which, like, yeah, but I'd have to make ammunition for that. That is correct, Thunder Norse. Which is why we've gotten upgrades to how ranged combat works already. But that is correct talk that has been happening. That's the current priority for development, as far as I know. I don't think anything's changed. Aside from the fact that I actually need more statues, so... I'm actually just gonna pop one of these out and throw it up there. Dwarves are all down here listening to stories. I was accepting after mulling over somebody's death. After remembering somebody's death, he became less depressed and learned to value power. What a dwarf. More power to you. I also can't wait for it. I mean, the siege stuff's going to be interesting. I just hope that it gets marketed well enough that I don't feel like I'm doing all of the marketing. Because I'll be honest, it's a little bit exhausting. So I hope that there's some good coordination between Kit Fox and Bay 12 for that. Okay, let's get that placed over there in the corner. Also, thanks for the 100 likes, YouTube folks. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, these dwarves need hard lives, which is why they'll get beds. Also, I just wanted to say a real quick thanks for helping us slam into that daily minimum today and surpass it. So, appreciate you guys. A lot of it came from resubs, but it's all the same to me. I was pretty sure we'd made it, but I just wanted to confirm. It's a very colorful fortress. Yeah, I mean, I always want it to be colorful. Hopefully this area is going to start looking denser soon. I mean, now that I've got just, like, tons of make rock block jobs just running, I think we're going to start getting there soon. Like, I do think it's getting to a point where I'm starting to be happy with the look of it. I mean, it still needs work, obviously. It's still getting there, but I think we're going to be getting there sooner than later, you know? I also really want to get a bridge built. But the way I'm going to do it is this. I'm just going to start building it. Like this, basically. And then once there's a functional bridge there, I will dig through this. Because otherwise I'm just going to let a whole bunch of animals onto the surface. Hey, peculiar. How's the peculiar lobster? Statues count as walls. And I just think that aesthetic looks nice. Personally. I mean, doors can't connect to them, but things can't pass through them. I don't know. It might make it more likely that they look at them every time they walk through, but that would be a side effect and not really the intent there. I just like the way that looks, and they are just as effective as having a wall there. Your snippy snaps are very snippy indeed. I'm glad that your snippy snaps are snippy and snappy. I hope that works out and continues to snip. Yeah, that should be fine. What do you guys think of this bridge so far? This bridge design? Thumbs up? We're in an ad break, so I can't unpause until the ads are done. But, what do you think? I think it's getting there. Tim, in the YouTube chat. Thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Hey, Twitch folks, can I get a round of beers? And YouTube people, you guys can click the party button if you can find it. Thanks, Tim. This is a different map. The terrible, no good, very bad map, Ford is done. And, I am working on a big video about it, which I got a decent chunk of time editing done this weekend on, and then stopped working on it when the other video that I made that same weekend fell and flopped super hard because it kind of took the wind out of my sails. But I should have that out sometime, I don't know, mid-September. That's when I'll really have time to edit because I won't have any time this coming weekend, but next weekend, I should have a decent amount of time to edit. But if you want to help, maybe boost a video into the algorithm, sort of, or like give it some help. I made this video and I'm really proud of it. I really like it. And it got literally 0 love from the YouTube algorithm, which is really funny to me because it got the highest click rate from my subscription inbox that I've made in maybe years. So that's personally really frustrating, but I get it. Also, I got denied another Twitch front page spot that same day, so I was kind of bummed. You want to name an available dwarf? Dwarf lobster. Do you want a dwarf with a beard or a dwarf without a beard? Or no preference? No preference. Okay, happiest dwarf is now a lobster. And you're not allowed to sob about it. Quick, chat. Humrock lobster, but instead of rock, it's dwarf. He never becomes angry and would never pass up a chance for a good pincher fight, and tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others. He likes to take it easy, prefers to live as harmoniously as possible, and he is often nervous. He could be considered rude and rarely feels discouraged. He has little interest in joking around, and he has a noticeable lack of perseverance. He inhales sharply when he's angry, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day. He does not really mind being outdoors, at least for a time. Like the movie, The Lobster. Yes. Personally finds sacrifice to be the highest ideals and finds the following of tradition foolish and limiting. Does not respect the law, sees competition as wasteful and silly, and does not care about friendship, and doesn't see the point of working hard. He likes marble and copper and cat's eye and crystal glass gems in the words of the play of couples. When possible, prefers to consume yellow bullhead and banana beer and absolutely hates moon snails. You have a wife named Deller, and your only daughter is named Irvad. Welcome to the fort. All right. Let's see if I can connect you to the other side. Nope. Could cut that off, though. You know, I could probably speed this up if I put a bridge right here. So I'm going to put a bridge right here. So you know if bad thing happened, I can lock bridge. Shouldn't take too long. There was a relic hat on the ground, and it gives light manipulation 4. Ooh. Was that an upgrade to light manipulation that you already had, or is that a first for your character? It's weird that you didn't fully build that. So once this is done, I'm just going to link this to this. But now we wait for the bridge. Not the bridge, the bridge, the actual bridge. The bridge, what we building. Yeah, I think this is going to look absolutely awesome. I need to have like lava or something underneath it, don't I? I also kind of want to make like a ramp going from the middle of it, like maybe down this way or down through the center or something. that goes all the way down to like ground level. Just because that would be awesome. Like, just in general, that would be pretty awesome. You notice Datum is 50% off in Steam. Have you played that? Yeah, I played that. I beat it once upon a time by cheating. Certainly didn't do it legitimately, and that was a long time ago. And then the sequel came out, and it kind of retroactively made me like the game less. I don't know. I don't really want to play ADOM again because I'm scared I'll hate it. And at one point in my life, it was genuinely one of my favorite games ever made. And now I'm kind of like, I think a lot of that might be rose-tinted glasses. So I'm a little scared to ever go back to it. Yeah. Doran's Bridge adjacent. Sure. Yeah. I mean, Dwarves' big epic bridges and big epic halls are the two things that they're known for, right? Let's also go through here and unpause all canceled items or auto-paused jobs. I'm actually going to go down to the bottom of this and just pause a bunch of tasks that don't really need to be done at the moment. Just... Okay, with the exception of drinks, we'll keep brewing drinks. Just so that... Whoopsies. Some of those will keep going, I guess. We have more hands for the construction. I will keep some of these rock blocks going. No, there's dragons in this world. I mean, they're always very rare. I don't usually turn up the frequency too much. I think my current, like, default settings turn them up slightly, but I didn't go out of my way to make them common. But there are dragons, yes. Why do you ask? The Gearhead roguelike even has a premium Steam version now. You know, that's a game that I was aware of, and somebody in chat pointed it out like the day it released on Steam. I was like, oh shit, really? That has a premium release? I should buy that. And then I should play it. And I bought it and I played it for about 90 minutes and was like, yup, that's that. And then I haven't touched it since. Gearhead, I'm pretty sure it's just called Gearhead on Steam, isn't it? Is like a mecha roguelike. Yeah, at this point, I think like the next roguelike I want to get deep into again is probably just Cogmind. Gearhead Caramel, that's it, yeah. I knew it was Gearhead something, but... Well, thanks for hanging out, Dark Lord Ivy. May I ask what you are drawing? ADOM is Ancient Domains of Mystery, yeah. Just like Tome is Tales of Majayal. here. It's very old school roguelike. Classic one, even. Although, like, it's one of those games where whenever I feel like playing ADOM, actually, you know what game I go play these days? Because it kind of looks and feels similar enough to play that it scratches a similar itch. Dungeon Mans! Which has the best DLC ever. Which is the pay-to-lose DLC, which just makes the game harder, which I don't own. I just think it's funny. This game, in the game, has a tip button where you can tip the developer. And true story, the developer of that game, oops, I'm making walls, not floors. The developer of that game, really, really, really likes caramels, like these specific caramels. So he has like a PayPal button where you can just tip him on PayPal. But he also has a separate button right next to that where you could tip him, like you could gift him these caramels that he really likes. And the first person to ever do that was Tarn Adams, because he bought the game and was playing it and thought that was so funny that he gifted him some caramels. You loved Tome, been playing it since it was Pernang Band. Yep. I remember it when it was Lord of the Rings game. You know, actually, I was thinking about it recently. Doom the Roguelike getting remade as Jupiter Hell Classic is kind of very similar to what happened with Tome, right? Because Tome being a Lord of the Rings themed Angband spinoff, like becoming legally sellable, is very similar to like Jupiter Hell Classic. You hope he's set on Candy for Life? I mean, I know the developer of Dungeon Mans has had many day jobs to keep the indie dream alive, but these dwarves don't like this. They're not happy. I don't know. Some chat mentioned Farscape. I've never mentioned Farscape. I don't think so, anyway. You're working on a Peace for Fandom project. Eldritch Gods slap fighting Lee over Squiggly Human. Well, there you go. Enjoy your Eldritch God fan art. I mean, I watched the one season of Farscape and I was whelmed. My ex really liked it. I thought it was okay, and I haven't watched it since. So, it's a creative show. It's not my favorite sci-fi show, but it's certainly creative. I'll give it that. This sounds worse than it is, but it's unique. I mean that, like, affectionately. Sure, I mean, I only ever watched one season of it, so... I thought they never made a second season, or am I thinking of something else? Wait, didn't that show get canceled after one season? That was Firefly? Right. I don't think I've ever seen Firefly either, now that I think about it. Anyway, I only ever saw the first season of Farscape. I did watch too many seasons of Andromeda, though. Because there was a very brief period of time where my old job had access to the Sci-Fi Channel, so I just watched a bunch of Andromeda. Speaking of, like, sci-fi shit, do you guys see that they announced a Star Trek Voyager game? Because, like, Hold on, let me just grab the page for it. It's harder to explain than it should be. It's like something you need to see to believe. Like this fucking thing? So I don't really like Voyager. I think a lot of its writing is weird, and I think the characters are uninteresting. But it does have some token good episodes. And, like... This is like a Star Trek Voyager ship management survival game? Like... This is either horrible or kind of amazing, and there's going to be no in the middle. Like, to me, it kind of looks like, I don't know, like a weird mix of like choose your own adventure, like a little bit of like XCOM base management, or like even what's it called? Oxygen not included. I guess you're in space, so that checks out. But also at the same time, like floating around in space and exploring planets and getting into skirmishes with random aliens. Like, I don't know, like this... Someone said it was Fallout Shelter. I mean, maybe. The difference is I don't care about Fallout as a theme for a video game. I like Star Trek, though. Like, like... I'm that person who would probably play a whole lot of the Ancient Aliens game if it wasn't just a mobile, like, management game with the microtransactions removed for $30. So, you know, it's listed as interactive fiction, and it's not free to play. So, I'm okay with Fallout Shelter style gameplay if there's more to it. Because, like, on its surface, like, Fallout Shelter could be a really, really cool thing if it just was... What's the word I'm looking for here? If it was financed differently, like if it was a video game that you bought for money and like didn't destroy its own existence by making you pay for microtransactions. I mean, that's very like Star Trek though, psychological horror. Like there's plenty of like spooky episode. Yeah, I mean, Star Trek's schlocky as hell, but like at the same time, there are spooky Star Trek episodes. So that checks out. Oh, certainly. Fallout Shelter is not a unique like style of thing. There's plenty of games that have been like that over the years. You know, that's like saying that Roller Coaster Tycoon is a reskin of Theme Park. There's lots of games that are similar. Every game is a copy of something or a derivative of something. You know, I feel similarly about that Star Trek game as I did about Aliens: The Dark Descent. When that game got announced, I know a lot of people who were like, yep, nope, that's gonna be fucking terrible. And apparently that game is pretty good. Like, it's not the sort of thing I would stream, but if I didn't stream and actually played video games for fun still, I would probably have played that by now. Spin-off of Railroad Tycoon? I think you mean Transport Tycoon. Sir. Please. Railroad Tycoon was by a completely different studio. Even I know this. No, Transport Tycoon came first. Then Transport Tycoon Deluxe, which was a mediocre success. And then Deluxe was a runaway success. And then Roller Coaster Tycoon was the spin-off successor thingy. And then Sid Meier's Locomotion was the spin-off successor to Open Transport, or to Transport Tycoon Deluxe, which used the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 engine and flopped pretty horribly. But Railroad Tycoon came first, but that was made by Sid Meier, not a different studio. So, like, different studio can't make a spinoff. That's like saying that, like, Medal of Honor is a spinoff of Call of Duty. No. Different people. I need more malachite blocks, like stat. Bridge, yes. This is a strand game. Kodiak. We've got strands of fabric and bridge. Now we just need Bridge Man McGrunting with baby on chest, and then we'll be most of the way there. It's very festive bridge, Zacharias. I mean, don't you guys like the look of this bridge? I think it's beautiful, personally. This is going to be kind of a pain in the ass to do. I'm going to have to do some digging to do that, actually. NetHack is technically a fork of Hack. So is Brogue. Actually, technically, so is Doom the Roguelike, but... Yeah, and CDDA and Project Zomboid were both placed on the same tabletop rule set, I think. A lot of games are interlinked. Now I feel like I'm in Blade Runner all of a sudden. Interlinked. Cells. Interlinked. I think you mean Railroad Tycoon, right? Because Sid Meier's Railroads, Chris Sawyer didn't work on, as far as I know. I could be wrong. But as I understood it, Chris Sawyer then went and left and sold the bigger Transport Tycoon idea to Infogrames, right? I might be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. That would be abnormal of me. But not entirely out of the realm of possibility at all. Don't mind the floodwaters. It's fine. This is the runoff from the thawing of the well that I drained. Yep, more bedroom neaters have arrived. This is true, but I've got a bridge to finish first. That's not terrifying at all. They're just being werebear blood there. Was it Microprose? I need to actually look at a Wikipedia page to catch back up on this. Because I can't remember who bought what when. I know that at some point Roller Coaster Tycoon ended up under Infogrames, but that might have been later. Which is how they ended up being owned by Atari. Flava Box. You know, It's not very often that you see somebody with a #1 badge in my chat, because believe it or not, there's only 4 of you left that still have it. But also, it's even rarer to see the first person who ever subscribed to this channel. Sup, dude? Yeah, most of the OGs have left a long time ago. It's my own fault. I changed my content too much. I'd have to be more stagnant and similar to what I used to do to keep people around, but nope. Not anymore, unfortunately. But thank you for sticking around. You're a legend. Truly. Meanwhile, YouTube chat, interlinked. Chat, can I get like 98 beers? Because that's 98 months of subscription. I wouldn't be too surprising if that's correct. I'm dusty on my tycoon history. It's not something I think about so often these days. You're loving this Forts aesthetic? Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm also liking the Forts aesthetic. We got really lucky with materials, though, so that helps. It's been a couple crazy weeks catching COVID and IRL. I mean, hey, you know, you take care of yourself in real life. That's much more important than watching some idiot stream video games on the internet, but it's good to see you. Hopefully not the worst of the crazy. Hopefully the worst of the crazy is over at this point. Some ads are going to start in a minute. I will pause game. I mean, there's a reason I refer to it as like the true end game of Dwarf Fort is Fashion Fort, right? It's all about just building cool-ass fort by the end of it. Yeah, getting sick sucks, and running into real-life issues is also rough, so. It's good to hear that things are improving. Trust me. Well, Spork of Death's probably in an ad, actually. The BBB. Although Big Beautiful Anything makes my hair stand on end these days, but... Got such limited time to game these days. You've limited all your games to Balatro and Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I mean, every now and again people ask me what I do when I'm not streaming, when I play games. I've been playing 2 games. Well, actually 3 games. And I kind of like alternate between them, and I play them maybe 5 or 6 hours a week off stream. It's either Tricky Madness, which is an independently developed SSX Tricky-like snowboarding game, where I've been grinding the high scores on 2 of the maps to try and stay in the top 5 for the early access of that game, and I'm holding pretty strong on one of them and not so well on the other one. I've been playing Tetris Effect again, and I've been playing oh, you said Brotato. I read that as Balatro. Huh. I did, in fact, misread that. And then the other one that I've been playing on and off is... why am I blanking on the name of that... Tokyo Extreme Racer. Like, how am I blanking on the name of this? This is like a very easy video game name to remember. Name you a dwarf, no beard preference. Mincott the Dyer. Do you want to be the Drake, or do you just want to be Esvin, or do you have any preference with your names? Do you want the underscores, no underscores? Did you hear the one about the Forgotten Beast and the Gremling, by the way? It's a doozy. As in, like, the audio design of it was good, Lamb Lambs? I mean, that's the game that I've been playing. Right there. Here's a link in the YouTube chat if anybody's curious. I mean, that's not a roguelike in the slightest, but Spork of Death, but it's a space sim. I've played Privateer. Svan is fine, okay. I should actually name you Svan is fine. That's me being a little bit too literal. Always acts with mercy and compassion at the forefront of her considerations, is impeccably curious, without any respect for property or privacy, is concerned only with matters of the practical situation at hand, and absolutely no inclination towards abstract discussion. Finds humor in most situations, can be very optimistic, does not easily hate or develop negative feelings, and tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects. Tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions, is assertive, pleased by her own appearance and talents, and has an active imagination, doesn't often feel envious of others, tends to be a bit stubborn in changing her mind about things, and tends to avoid crowds, can handle stress, and often feels discouraged, needs alcohol to get through the working day, and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. Oh, there was a roguelike based on Privateer? I mean, I have no idea. I've played Privateer. I thought you were saying Privateer was a roguelike, and I was very perplexed, but... Personally places cooperation as one of the highest ideals, finds sacrifice to be the height of folly, and is a firm believer in the value of tradition, and finds those that deny their impulses somewhat stiff. Also, somebody left a comment on the video I uploaded on Sunday that said that they really want a Half-Life roguelike. And I've been trying to imagine what, like, a gravity gun in a turn-based roguelike would look like. Asketeer, I would call it Asketeer, actually. Privateer ASCII sector. All right, noted. Huh, I'll look into it. So I'm mildly curious, but probably wouldn't stream it or anything. She dreams of crafting a masterwork someday, though. She likes pudding stone and electrum and chrysoprase, as well as the color lemon. Gems, maces, gauntlets, the words of the play of couples, and the sight of the earthen of aquamarine, and prefers to consume bilberry wine, and absolutely hates cave spiders. Her dad lives here, and it's Schmitty Scent, which means you're related to the Outpost Liaison. Distantly, but your cousin's Kogan the Dyer. Got discontinued years ago. Yeah, which probably means it's also a pain in the ass to get running these days. Oh, actually, no, that would be the way to do it, right? Stone, that would be the way to do it, right? You'd have to play as, like, a random scientist with just, like, shit exploding everywhere. Trading between systems. I mean, the closest thing I could imagine to that, I haven't looked at what this ASCII sector game looks like, but there's a game called, or is a game called Approaching Infinity, which is kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon Star Trek roguelike, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm clearly going to have to round this off a bunch. But this is going to be approximately where we are going to build the arena. So 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Well, like I said, we're gonna have to do some rebuilding of this. Why don't we do 1, 2, 1, 2? This is where the mega project, I think, starts to become obvious in this fort. Because people with monitors had massive advantage over people who had to wait for their dot matrix printer to print out the screen. What? Oh man, this was way before my time then. The closest thing I ever did to that was playing Civ over email with my dad. Which admittedly, pretty cool. You know what's fun? Is I'm currently just fully neglecting the fact that a bunch of my dwarves need bedrooms. It's like, should probably be making these dwarves some bedrooms, because, like, you know, those are kind of important for, like, general happiness of the fort, but, like, then at the same time, here I am just like, yeah, but, like, what if I didn't? My dad never was really into games. Well, he was for a bit, and then he just kind of stopped. I got him playing Age of Empires for a brief period of time, and then SimCity and a little bit of Civ, but that was about it. You finished Homeworld before you did? Awesome. I was always jealous of the kids who got a Nintendo not because they asked for it, but because their parents wanted it. I always thought that those kids had the cool parents. Oh, totally. Yeah, no, definitely was a fun time. Good memories. Oops, wrong button. Gotta have at least 2 free pickaxes. But yeah, this is going to be where I start building that arena. I'm thinking this will be the top floor of it. And I'm just going to start building down kind of in this shape that I'm digging out here. By building down, I mean digging down. And I'm thinking like, maybe like a big open, how do I put this? like amphitheater kind of thing. So instead of it being like a full circle, I'm thinking maybe like a half circle or something, like kind of out to about here, and then I could fill it up with windows along the side, and then have like a viewing spot like on this wall somewhere where the dwarves watch, but I don't actually want to force them to watch because that's just unfair to the poor dwarves. That, or like the other thing that I was thinking was like doubling it up on this side, but I don't know, that might be a bit much. But yeah, I think this is going to end up looking dope once it's done. The other thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to dig through this. We're going to need to keep this here. Definitely going to need to keep that there. Oh man, so jealous about that. In regards to the LAN parties at your dad's office. I always counted my lucky stars that I was even allowed to play video games, but thankfully my parents pretended to be more restrictive than they actually were. They just knew nothing about video games and didn't want me playing stuff that was like inappropriate for my age. So at the time I felt that they were like maniacal and mean about it, but in reality, not so much. As an adult, I kind of look back and go, yeah, I probably do similar. Fucking go outside sometimes, you twerp kind of deal. Will this bridge become a defensive liability? Well, there's a drawbridge here right now. I don't know exactly how I'm going to seal it up. I'll probably have a better way of sealing it up. Right now, it's a defensive liability. But hopefully it won't. It's going to be the way that I transport monsters into the arena eventually. But, like, yeah, I mean, I'm going to need to work on walling it off, which is why I'm, like, digging around up here. Because once I have some flat space at the edge of it, I'm thinking I could build maybe a tower at each end. Maybe put Marks dwarves on them? Something? It shouldn't, as long as like stuff can't walk onto the bridge, it shouldn't be much of an issue because I don't think we'll get any flying enemies. I mean, I guess it could be an issue against like Titans or something, but ideally you just want to hope that that's not going to be an issue, right? But you never know, right? Hold on. See what we can do. Let's see what we can do, Spork. I haven't played Path of Acro in a while because I kind of did everything I wanted to do and people had stopped watching. So it was starting to perform badly on the channel, which is usually when I slow down playing games or just play them on my own. Also, I'm not going to lie. I kind of got to a point where I kind of hit my skill ceiling, which was like, I think the 7th or 8th cycle. And people were starting to like make fun of me for being bad because just like constantly restarting is not great for my entertainment nor the channel. So I was always playing on lower cycles. People were like, wow, he's bad at this game. I was like, well, never really tried to get good at it. So I'm just kind of waiting for his next game. Let's see what we can do here. Right, it's arrow keys. Silly me. I mean, that's it currently. Obviously, it's very unfinished, but does anybody know the hotkey to take one screenshot of Stone Sense? Because there's a way to like screenshot the whole map simultaneously. When did they add like animations to Stone Sense? The dog's tail is wagging. The hell? You know, it's been more stable on my computer recently. Knock on wood. Kodiak. What are we doing? This is Stone Sense, and that's a bridge I'm building. And that's the, I guess, what's gonna become the arena. Over here's my military, training away. There's the little ramp. It's that big open area that's slowly building up. The Monster Bowl. Yes, not to be confused with the Monstrous Ball. There's my long, twisty entry, and the cat's tails wag, apparently. There's some bedrooms that are very ugly. There's the tavern. Don't mind the blood on the ground. It's not blood on the ground. It's actually gems. And then this is my temple structures. The tombs are under there. Right there. You know? And if I go down here, this is the livestock pen where all my sheep are. All my rams and ducks. We got lots of ram in this fort. Yeah, no, and the new maintainer has popped up in the chat a couple times to comment about bugs getting fixed. What's the screenshot? I don't actually know how to do that. There is a way to just like take a massive screenshot of the entirety of Stone Sense, but it has been a lot better as of late. You probably use this more than I do, though, Deep Space. You can probably even speak better to it than me. I had tiered covered pastures. Well, not tiered. The roof is tiered. I've been using just a hotkey to skip to it, but it's down here. Yeah, it's not like... The roof isn't pastures. I mean, you could still play that version and then download an old version of Minecraft, but yeah, no, I agree, Kodiak. Zulban, the dyer withdraws from society. And the dwarf goes into a strange mood. And claims a clothes shop. Proceeds to run north. Grabs some dyed sheep's wool dye. Or dyed cloth. Some not dyed sheep's wool cloth. Some more not dyed sheep's wool cloth. And steel bars. I don't think there's different quality levels of dye. I think it's the quality of the dyed job on the cloth. Because you can have, like, master level improved cloth. Like, this is a superior quality sheep's wool trousers, which has exceptional sheep's wool cloth, and the thread is amber, finely colored with peach bark dye. I have no idea what that means, Genose. So probably not. What do you mean by this spectator cam? You mean like put the dwarf in the middle of the screen? I've not seen any talk about changing the following cam, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, but I don't know what they would do to make it better, aside from maybe put the dwarf in the middle of the screen. Like, maybe only put it in the middle of the screen if, like, the thing's not connected. This is just how the camera moves, though. Like, that's how the camera moves. So I don't know how it could be smoother. That's what the dwarf fort move like. So no, I don't actually think it could be smoother. That goes back to like the smooth movement discussions where you'd have to like redo the engine. But for spectating, so why rewrite the entirety of the game engine so that the camera could move not one tile at a time for one camera thing? No, there hasn't been talk of that, I guess, to answer your question. Oh, I see, because those are there. I think I'll just leave this for the moment. Yeah, I don't know. I knowing and very little about how programming works, but knowing enough or having heard enough people talk about working on this game over the years, that sounds like it would probably require some pretty major engine rewrites, which is actually like the reason this game doesn't have smooth movement, is because it would require pretty strict engine rewrites. And I have a feeling the camera's probably connected to that. So I doubt it, unfortunately. I feel like smooth camera would suck for me personally, because that would make editing my videos a lot harder. One of the reasons, actually, that I'm really happy that I never started making videos like I do for Dwarf Fortress, but for RimWorld, is because smooth camera makes it so fucking hard to edit. All right, chat. I've been streaming for 9 hours, and I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna call it. Today was fun. Yeah, if you have DF Hack, just try launching StoneSense, but just make sure you save your game, Tim Graham, in YouTube chat, before you launch StoneSense, because StoneSense historically has been very crashy. It's been pretty good these days, but, you know, you can never be too cautious.
Everyone!
Chat room, we'll be on tomorrow. Normal Dwarf time, normal Dwarf channel. Channel. You know where to find me, I think. I don't know when I'll be able to get the next big video out. If you missed it earlier today, there was actually some new Dwarf Fortress music that was added, which I'm going to use as the outro for today. But first, my face is going to disappear for a second. 2 seconds.